On May 11, 1998, India successfully tested its very nuclear tactical missile at Rajasthan's Pokhran test range, as well as Operation Shakti initiative in Pokhran test to more missiles. Apart from nuclear tests, India's first aircraft, the Hansa-3 flight in Bangalore. Also, the RDO enhanced the importance of the day by successfully completing the test fire session of India's surface-to-air Trishul missile. Due to all these achievements, on the same day, Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee declared May 11 as National Technology Day. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have gathered here to celebrate one of the most important successful landmarks of India. This is Shravya Sharma, welcoming respected director sir, Dr. Sunil Jain sir, respected chairman sir, Mr. Rajesh Jain sir, respected MD, Engineer Rohit Jain sir, respected principal sir, Dr. Anshul Gangele sir, all the HOD, faculty members and all my dear students. I am glad and honored to host our esteemed guest speaker for today. Dr. Sanjeet Dwivedi sir, Scrum Master and a Senior Control Engineer, Global Research and Development Danfoss, Power Electronics. Dr. Amol sir is a Professor of Physics in Tata Institute of Fundamental Research in the Department of Theoretical Physics. Dr. Mahesh Pandey sir. Dr. Pandey is a Civil and Environmental Engineering Professor at the University of Waterloo. Respected guests, we, the Adina Institutes of Science and Technology, our esteem, extend a warm welcome to each of you. We celebrate Technology Day today. Respected guests, thank you for giving us your valuable time. A ray of light is a ray of hope, and respected directors sir give that hope to thousands of students across Sagar as well as Madhya Pradesh, where the people suffer to put up themselves with the updated demand of the scenario. Our directors sir fill them with the knowledge, dedication, determination, and support, with the power and the potential to bring the positive change. Sir completed B Pharma and M Pharma from the Hari Singh Gaur Vishwavidyalaya, where sir being the gold medalist for the M Pharma as well as for the PhD. The lightning guide step towards the bright side. The gifted star to remove the dark side. Sir is someone who changed thousands of lives. I request each and everyone to give a big round of applause for our director. I request respected director sir to bless us with the words of wisdom. Respected sir. Respected sir. Sir, am I audible?
हेलो अनुराग जी सुन पा रहे हैं मेरे लिए आप?
यस सर।
थोड़ा वॉइस क्लियर नहीं हो रही, अभी जो बोल रहे थे ना आवाज साफ नहीं आ रही बिल्कुल, थोड़ा सा वो देखे नहीं तो क्या है, आपको कोई लेक्चर है ना, आवाज थोड़ा क्लियर करिए थोड़ा सा ना।
Shavya ma'am, please continue. Shavya ma'am, please continue.
I request our principal sir to welcome our chief. Respected sir, over.
Sure, madam, have you invited me to talk?
गंगेली जी, हेलो गंगेली जी,
Yes, sir.
हमारे गेस्ट जो स्पीकर हैं ज्वाइन किए नहीं किया अभी?
सर हमारे साथ में डॉक्टर अमोल दिघे साहब जुड़ चुके हैं।
हाँ हाँ,
संजीत जो द्विवेदी साहब जुड़ने वाले हैं। वैद्य सर को भी
अच्छा
मैंने
अच्छा,
अभी फोन किया है सर। ही इज आल्सो
राइट राइट,
वेरी सून ही इज एक्सपेक्टेड टू ज्वाइन
ठीक से ठीक ठीक।
सर।
मेरा कैमरा ऑन नहीं हो पा रहा है, माइक्रोफोन तो ऑन हो गया है।
सर तो अगर आप परमिशन दें तो मैं थोड़ा शुरू कर दूं। वेलकम
बिल्कुल शुरू करिए, बिल्कुल
सर।
शुरू करिए। अमोल जी दिख ही रहे हैं, बिल्कुल शुरू करिए, आप लेट मत करिए।
Thank you, Director sir, and thank you, Shava madam. Very good afternoon to all, and we are here to celebrate National Technology Day, as explained by Shava madam, that this particular day is celebrated in commemoration of the nuclear tests India conducted in 1998 under the Prime Ministership of Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. In that year, two more scientific feats India achieved. One, the completely indigenous aircraft Hans. Its first test flight was successful, and later in that year only, one more missile Trishul was successfully tested. तो सबसे पहले मैं आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं। सबसे पहले मैं हमारे एडिना ग्रुप ऑफ इंस्टीट्यूशंस के चेयरमैन श्री राजेश जैन सर को धन्यवाद देता हूं कि उन्होंने ये कार्यक्रम कराने की परमिशन दी। हमारे ग्रुप डायरेक्टर सर डॉक्टर सुनील जैन सर का मैं हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनंदन करता हूं इस सभा में, इस ऑनलाइन सभा में। हमारे मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर इंजीनियर रोहित सर का भी स्वागत करता हूं। हमारे स्पीकर डॉक्टर अमोल दिघे सर भी जुड़ चुके हैं इस इनॉग्रल सेशन में, उनका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। और साथ में अगर हम मध्य प्रदेश काउंसिल फॉर साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, जिन्होंने हमें लोगों का स्पॉन्सरशिप दिया है, उनका भी वहां से अगर कोई वैसे वो जुड़ने वाले होंगे, अगर कोई जुड़े हैं तो उनका भी स्वागत है। और साथ में मेरे टीचर गवर्नमेंट स्कूल के प्रिंसिपल श्री आर के वैद्य सर भी जुड़ने वाले हैं, उनका भी मैं स्वागत करता हूँ और अभिनंदन करता हूँ। और साथ में जो महाकौशल विज्ञान परिषद के सदस्यगण और कुछ स्टूडेंट्स जो जुड़े हुए हैं, उनको भी मैं वेलकम करता हूं इन दिस पर्टिकुलर सेरेमनी। और मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि इसमें जो 3 स्पीकर हैं वो इंडिया ही नहीं पूरे विश्व स्तरीय साइंटिस्ट, एकेडमिशियंस, प्रोफेसर्स हैं, और उन्होंने हमें इस कार्यक्रम को में उपस्थित होने की जो कंसेंट दी अपने ऑनलाइन उपस्थिति की, उसके लिए मैं उनका बहुत बहुत आभारी हूं, क्योंकि उन्होंने अपने वैल्यूएबल टाइम में से दे आर अकम्प्लिश्ड रिसर्चर्स और कंसल्टेंट्स है, तो उन लोगों के लिए भी उन्होंने हमारे लिए समय दिया, उनका भी मैं इस प्रोग्राम में स्वागत करता हूँ। नाउ ओवर टू शवा मैडम फॉर फर्दर प्रोसीडिंग्स।
We have with us Dwivedi, sir, the principal of Excellent School Sagar. West has been in the forefront regarding his involvement in continuous improvement of educational standards in Sagar and has been instrumental in numerous scientific and technological projects. I request West sir,
थैंक यू वेरी मच। इस नेशनल टेक्नोलॉजी डे के आज के इस कार्यक्रम में मैं समस्त आमंत्रित अतिथियों का और सभी श्रोताओं का स्वागत करता हूं। निश्चित रूप से ये आज बहुत अहम चीज है, जिसके कारण विश्व में हम परमाणु संपन्न राष्ट्रों में सम्मिलित हो सके। और एक बहुत बड़ी रिस्क थी उस समय, जिस समय माननीय वाजपेयी जी ने ये हिम्मत करके दिखाई। अमेरिका का दबाव था, अन्य विकसित कंट्रियों का दबाव था। उस दबाव के बावजूद भी हमारे वैज्ञानिकों ने इतने गोपनीय तरीके से इस पूरे ऑपरेशन को अंजाम दिया कि अमेरिका भी चौंक गया, और चौंक करके उसे पता ही, जबकि उसके सारे पूरे उपग्रह हमारे सभी जगह से निगरानी रखते थे इसके बावजूद भी वो ये नहीं पता लगा पाए कि भारत कोई ऐसा कदम उठाने जा रहा है जिसके कारण परमाणु परीक्षण वो कर सकेगा। निश्चित रूप से इसमें हमारे पूर्व राष्ट्रपति एपीजे कलाम साहब का बहुत बड़ा योगदान है, और जो पूरी टीम थी उनकी, उनने जो इसमें अपना योगदान दिया, निश्चित रूप से सराहनीय है। और आज का दिवस हम उनकी उपस्थिति मनाते हैं, उन्हीं की याद में मनाते हैं। हम एक बार पुनः इन समस्त लोगों को नमन करते हैं और ओवर टू एडिना ग्रुप। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Moving on, it's time to introduce our first speaker, Dr. Amol Dwivedi, sir. I would invite our new guest, Dr. Amol Dwivedi, sir. Amol Dwivedi, sir, is a professor of physics in Tata Institute of Fundamental Research in the Department of Theoretical Physics. Sir works in the area of high energy physics, which aims to understand the nature of fundamental interactions. By studying the properties of elementary particles, his recent research has focused on the particles known as neutrons, their nature and the role they play in the astrophysics and cosmology. He looks for the signal of new physics and experiments like Large Hadron Collider and the particles that come from the sky. He completed his BTech in Engineering Physics 1992 from the prestigious Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. His MS and PhD 1997 were from the University of Chicago, where he explored signal of charge parity violation in the particle physics interaction. Later, he was postdoctoral research in ICTP Italy, CER in Switzerland, and Max Planck Institute for Physics, Germany, before joining TIFR as a faculty member in 2003. Sir was one of the first Indian bronze medalists in International Mathematics Olympiad, held in Germany in 1989. He has received the Institute Silver Medal from IIT Bombay and the World Lab CERN John Bell Scholarship. He was the leader of the Max Planck Indian partner group in the neutron physics and astrophysics for 5 years. He has been elected Fellow of the Indian Academy of Science and the Indian National Science Academy. He has won the Swan Chetty Fellowship from the Department of Science and Technology and his specimen from the Shanti Swarup Bhattacharya Award. He has been awarded the Distinguished Alumni Award of IIT Bombay. Apart from his scientific publication, Dr. Dwivedi has also written numerous popular science articles in newspaper and magazines. Sir is going to talk about going underground to look at the stars. Thank you, sir. Over to you. Respected sir.
Can you hear me?
So, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
So, let me try to share some slides and let me know if you can see it. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
See the slides? Okay.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So, may I start? Hello?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I would like to Science and Technology to invite me for this technology. You will notice that what I will talk in the most of my talk here will actually be about science, fundamental science. But at the back of that, we'll always keep on seeing that for gaining knowledge about science, you need technology. Okay? And at the end of my talk, I will actually come to technology to indicate to you how we are going to be using technology in trying to understand science. Well, the title of my talk is somewhat contradictory. थोड़ा अजब है. I'll be talking about why sometimes you go underground to look at the sky. So, for example, no, if you go out today, right now during the day, you will see the sun, of course. If you go out at night, you will see the stars. So whatever we see in the sky, we normally can see it from the ground level. The question then is, why go underground? Okay? आप तो आकाश दे सकते हैं कभी भी. What is the need to go underground? And the answer to this is actually hidden in human curiosity. We are curious by nature, and therefore we ask questions. Sometimes these questions are very simple, at least they look very, very simple. So for example, one could ask, how does the sun shine? One could ask, how was the earth formed? One can ask, no, suppose I want to go to a place in the sky where there are no stars, what will be there? Okay, what is there in this emptiness in the sky? This curiosity leads us to make observations, and from the observations comes new knowledge. Okay? And it is the knowledge, the development of knowledge, which has brought us to where we are. So before I proceed further, let me ask you this question, because we did talk about the nuclear test that happened on this day many years ago. क्या आप में से किसी ने न्यूक्लियर रिएक्टर देखा है? मैं आपको तो देख नहीं सकता हूं यहां से, लेकिन let me tell you one thing. For all of those who did not raise their hands or answered no, I can tell you that you are lying. Okay? And that's because each and every one of you has seen a nuclear reactor, maybe without knowing. Not only that, I would claim that each and every one of you have seen many, many nuclear reactors. And which are they? They are exactly the photo that I showed you in the earlier slide. The sun and the stars are actually nuclear reactors in the sky. We know that inside the sun, at the core of the sun, there is a nuclear fusion reactor which converts hydrogen into helium, okay? And of course does many other things. Similarly, most of the stars that you see in the sky are nuclear reactors. The reason that they produce light is because they carry out nuclear reactions in their core. So therefore, all of us have seen nuclear reactors, and maybe now when you go home, I don't know if you're students, you can tell your parents, your friends that, no, I actually realized today that what I used to see in the sky as just twinkling lights are actually nuclear reactors. New knowledge does this to you. Okay, whatever earlier you were seeing as just light from the sky, science gives you new eyes to understand that what you are seeing has something else hidden behind it. Now that we know sun is a nuclear reactor, let's see what is inside that. How is this reactor made of? In the outside region where you see the light coming from, we see, of course, everything is nice and bright. But if you go very deep inside, here there is a lot of temperature and pressure. And because of that, hydrogen, which here you see as 4 protons, plus 2 of these electrons, get combined, make helium, and give out lots of light. Okay? This is what we see. However, once we study nuclear physics more, we understand that in addition to hydrogen making helium and light, you also get 2 particles called as neutrino. I would like to emphasize that this is neutrino and not neutron. Neutron is something that we already have seen. We know neutrons are part of a nucleus. Neutrino are not part of nucleus. However, they are produced in this reaction and they come to us from the sun in addition to light. This perhaps will be a new information for many of you. And in fact, it is perfectly fine on your part to ask me, how do we know this? ये हम कैसे जानते हैं? तो एविडेंस क्या है? इन साइंस, बिफोर बिलीविंग एनीथिंग, वी ऑलवेज आस्क फॉर एविडेंस. So you should ask, where is the evidence? I am telling you that you get neutrinos from the sun. We can all see light coming from the sun, but can we see these new particles called as neutrinos? The answer actually is yes, and I will tell you in a very short while how we can see them. Here is a photo of the sun taken in neutrinos. The left hand side is a standard photo of the sun, which is taken by maybe a normal camera, which has exposure time of about 1/1000th of a second. The right hand side photo is the photo of the sun taken in neutrinos. So what you see here are neutrinos seen in the neutrino detector. However, even to see a photo of this quality, which is not very good, the exposure time that we needed was 10 years. इसके फोटो लेने के लिए 10 साल लगे हैं, 1 सेकंड भर में काम नहीं हुआ. लेकिन इससे हमें पता चलता है कि सूरज से न्यूट्रिनो पृथ्वी पर आते हैं. इनफैक्ट ये जो न्यूट्रिनो है उन्हें बहुत बार मैं सूर्यकण कहता हूं, बिकॉज दीज आर पार्टिकल्स दैट कम फ्रॉम द सन. सो कभी कभी मैं न्यूट्रिनो कहूंगा, कभी कभी मैं सूर्यकण कहूंगा, आपको पता है. These neutrinos coming from the sun have some very interesting features. For example, I don't know where you are sitting. Some of you may be sitting inside a room and participating on Zoom. Some of you may be sitting in a big hall and perhaps seeing this on the big screen. Wherever you are sitting right now, through your bodies, the number of neutrinos passing through us is about 100 trillion per second. हर सेकंड हमारे शरीर से कुछ लाखों अरबों न्यूट्रिनो जा रहे हैं, लेकिन हमें इसका पता नहीं है. We don't realize this. So why do we not realize this? We'll come to that. Second interesting thing about neutrinos from the sun is that number of neutrinos coming at night is the same as number of neutrinos coming during day. Now this is very surprising because they're coming from the sun, and of course we know that light from the sun comes during day but does not come during night. So how is it possible that number of neutrinos during night is the same as those coming during day? The third interesting thing is that these neutrinos come from inside the sun. See, when we look at the sun, we see the light from the sun. The light does not come from inside the sun. It comes from the surface of the sun. बाहर से आता है, अंदर से नहीं आता है. So why does this happen? Why don't neutrinos come from the surface? Why do they come from inside the sun? These three questions are sort of puzzles that we'll try to get answers to in the next 5 minutes or so. These are three questions. So this reminded me of a story that I had read when I was a kid. आपने शायद इन दोनों को पहचाना होगा. ये अकबर और बिरबल है. एक कथा थी इनकी कि अकबर के दरबार में एक कोई बड़ा वाइज मैन आया दूसरे देश से, और उन्होंने पूछा कि मेरे पास 3 सवाल है, लेकिन उसका जवाब एक ही होना चाहिए. तो 3 सवाल कौन से थे? 3 सवाल थे: रोटी क्यों जल गई, पान के पत्ते क्यों सड़ गए, और घोड़ा क्यों अकड़ गया. ना वैसे देखे तो 3 सवाल एकदम भिन्न है, और पता नहीं है कि इनका एक आंसर कैसे होगा. शायद आप में से किसी ने कथा सुनी हो और आपको इसका जवाब शायद पता हो. इसका जवाब जो बिरबल ने दिया था वो था क्योंकि उन्हें घुमाया नहीं गया. तो रोटी हम तवे पे सेकते हैं, अगर उसे घुमाया नहीं तो वो जल जाती है. पान के पत्ते, आप कभी पान खाने गए होंगे तो देखा होगा कि जो पान वाला होता है वो हमेशा उन पत्तों को हिलाता रहता है, क्योंकि अगर उन्हें हिलाया नहीं तो पत्ते सड़ जाते हैं. और घोड़ा भी, अगर घोड़े को हर रोज घुमाया नहीं गया तो वो अकड़ जाता है, वो भाग नहीं सकता. ये जो मैंने इस कथा बताई वो विज्ञान से या तंत्र ज्ञान से एकदम परे है, लेकिन इसका इसलिए बताइए कि इसका मतलब यह है कि कभी कभी सवाल बहुत अलग अलग होते हैं लेकिन उनका जवाब एक ही होता है। जब साइंस में ऐसा हो तो इसका महत्व बहुत ज्यादा होता है, क्योंकि दिस मीन्स दैट यू हैड 3 क्वेश्चंस एंड ओनली वन आंसर सॉल्व ऑल ऑफ दिस 3 puzzles. We also had 3 puzzles of neutrinos. अब हमारे पास अकबर बिरबल नहीं है, okay, but these 2 guys are 2 of the best physicists of the 20th century. हाँ, आपने इनका नाम शायद सुना होगा। दिस इज कुलगाम, दिस इज पाउली एंड दिस इज डिराक। उनके नाम पे बहुत इक्वेशंस भी है जो आपके टेक्स्ट बुक में होंगे शायद। So what are our 3 puzzles? So one is, if the neutrinos pass through us, why don't we realize it? Second is, how do these neutrinos come at night? And third is, how can they come from inside the sun? और तीनों का जवाब एक ही है। The answer is because they can pass through almost everything. This is the special property of neutrinos. Because of this, they're often also called as ghost particles. Because just like we believe, of course, we don't know if they are ghosts, but we believe that if they're ghosts can pass through walls. Similarly, neutrinos can pass through almost everything that you can see. What do you mean almost everything? Okay. Let's take an example. Now, we know that sun gives light, sun gives neutrinos. Suppose you want to stop light from the sun. What will you do? Maybe you will wear a hat, and maybe you will take, I don't know, I have a paper. I hold the paper in front of my face, and suddenly light from the sun does not come on my face. So even if I have a simple paper like this, which has thickness of a few millimeters, I can stop light coming from the sun. So suppose you ask me, how thick a wall do I need to stop neutrinos from the sun? The answer is actually very surprising, because the thickness of the wall should be maybe a few light years. Okay, so I guess you have some idea of what a light year is. The distance of sun from us is about 8 light minutes. So of course we cannot stop neutrinos from the sun. Knowing that neutrinos pass through everything solves all our 3 puzzles. So the first question was, why do we not feel the neutrinos passing through us? And the simple answer would be that they pass through us without doing anything to our body. Okay? So they just safely pass through us and do not interact. Second question was, why is it that neutrinos from the sun reach us during night? Now you see, why doesn't the light come to us during night? Sun is of course always giving light. But what happens at night? At night, sun is beyond the earth on the other side. So it gives light, but that light is stopped by the earth. Okay? So midnight, okay, so the sun is somewhere below us. No? You have to see below your feet. If you go all the way there, you will find sun on the other side. Now light is stopped by the earth, okay, and therefore we cannot see the sun at night. But as we said, neutrinos pass through almost everything, which means they also pass through the earth. And therefore, they can come all the way through the earth and we can see them even during night. The third question was, the neutrinos can come from inside the sun. And again, this happens because they can pass through the sun itself. So they are produced in the center of the sun, and now they come out without being stopped by the atmosphere of the sun. So therefore, all our 3 puzzles now have only one solution, and the solution was that neutrinos pass through almost everything. Still, even though they pass through everything, they are required for the sun to shine. Okay? So they are very important. Because of them, the sun shines, and of course, our life is all because the sun shines and gives us light and energy. The question is, how to see these particles? So we said that they pass through almost everything. So कैसे देखें? इन्हें देखने के लिए we have to make very big detectors. so that even if all the neutrinos pass, almost all, one or two might stop and you might be able to see. So this picture that I am showing you is one of the biggest detectors that is built. It's in Japan. It is called Super Kamiokande, and it is made up of 5 crore liters of water. Okay, so it is basically made up of water. What you see in this picture are actually 3 men. They are in a boat, and what they are doing right now is they are trying to clean these detectors. So every detector, that is small dot that you see, is actually a very big detector. Okay, and they are trying to clean this up. After they clean this round, वो और भी पानी डाला जाएगा, water level will increase, then they will go to this higher level and they will clean this thing. So this detector will be basically filled with about 5 crore liters of water. सिर्फ 5 crore liter पानी इसमें भरा है. फिर a neutrino, if it comes from the sun, it will hit, maybe water is hydrogen and oxygen, maybe it will hit hydrogen atom, और वहां से एक इलेक्ट्रॉन बाहर चला आएगा. और इलेक्ट्रॉन जो है, इस इलेक्ट्रॉन को ये जो डिटेक्टर जो है सब जगह वो देख लेंगे. But now I told you that neutrinos pass through everything. So how will they hit the electron, or how will they hit the nucleus? So number of neutrinos that pass through this in a day is about 25 zeros on 1. So this is 10 to the power 25. But almost all of them pass through, and in one day we only see about 5 to 10 neutrinos. इससे ही हमें काम चलाना पड़ेगा. So even though these many pass through a detector, ये 5 या 10 जो हमें दिखते हैं, वो सब इकट्ठा करके we have to study the properties. Okay, that's why studying of neutrinos is very, very difficult, and that is why we need high technology to be able to do it. Now, in detecting neutrinos, the main problem is the problem of cosmic rays. What is the cosmic rays? From all over the space, our Earth is always bombarded with lots of cosmic rays. Okay, these are mainly protons. Now, when the protons hit the atmosphere, so this is atmosphere of the Earth, okay, they produce many particles whose names you may not even have heard if you have not studied these particles. However, after all of these big showers, on the ground, you get some cosmic rays which are called as muons, and some neutrinos which are denoted by this letter called nu. A cosmic ray shower जो है, is a very, very big shower. So see, this is Mount Everest. So Mount Everest की ऊंचाई लगभग 8000 मीटर है. लेकिन ये जो कॉस्मिक रेज है वो 15 किलोमीटर 30 किलोमीटर ऊपर से भी आते हैं. अबाउट 30,000 मीटर से आ सकते हैं. तो प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है? See, number of cosmic rays that come to the Earth are the same about as number of neutrinos. 50 कॉस्मिक रे आए तो 50 न्यूट्रिनो आएंगे. लेकिन जो कॉस्मिक रे जो होते हैं वो सब हम देख सकते हैं, बट आउट ऑफ न्यूट्रिनोज, ओके, आउट ऑफ दीज मेनी न्यूट्रिनोज, यहाँ एक पे 18 जीरो है, इनमें से एक न्यूट्रिनो को हम देख सकते हैं. मतलब क्या हुआ कि इफ वी आर सिटिंग ऑन अर्थ एंड लुकिंग एट द स्काई, वी विल सी दीज मेनी कॉस्मिक रेज, okay, 10 to the power 18, but only one neutrino. So this means that the neutrinos will get lost in so many cosmic rays. We will not be able to observe anything. So क्या करें? The solution to this is going underground. So what happens is all the other particles get absorbed inside the Earth, but neutrinos can reach all the way inside the Earth. So what you do is you go about 1 kilometer below ground. So you go below ground and set up your laboratory. In this laboratory, no other particles can reach from outside. Only neutrinos can reach. So now we have a very clean atmosphere, and even if only 10 neutrinos come during the day, we are able to identify them as neutrinos. Okay? That is the reason that we go underground to look at the sky. So I will pause here for about half a minute to check if people have any questions, and also to ensure that everything was heard properly. If I hear some feedback from you, then I will go ahead. Okay. Could people hear me properly?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Okay. So if there are no questions, I will go ahead. So the first lesson here is, I hope that we appreciated why is it that we have to go underground to look at the sky. Because if we see the sky only from the surface, okay, we will not really be able to see everything, because to see neutrinos, which are important part of the sky, we have to go underground. Let's ask the second question. How was the Earth formed? So Earth, of course, no, this is our Earth that we see from space. We know that inside the Earth, there are many elements. Okay? So main element happens to be oxygen, then silicon, aluminium, iron, and so on and so forth. Then we ask, how were these elements made? Where were the elements made? Okay? We know that all the elements in the universe are actually made by nuclear fusion, starting from hydrogen. So way in the beginning, okay, hydrogen was formed, okay, which was just one proton, and then under intense pressure and temperature, these hydrogen atoms, they combine. Okay. There are lots of complicated reactions, we don't need to go into them, but finally it produces helium. Here see, helium has 2 protons and 2 neutrons. Inside stars, where temperature pressures are very high, you can even go higher than that. So you can, after helium, you can go and produce higher elements like lithium, boron, and so on. You can make, in fact, you can make carbon, you can make nitrogen, you can even make oxygen. Okay? So inside the sun, you can make the first 7 or 8 elements, so maybe up to oxygen. But sun cannot go much beyond oxygen, because all said and done, sun also has some capacity of making, producing heavier elements. If you want to go beyond oxygen, let's say you want to make iron or something, you need extreme temperature, which is possible only if you have a star. It's not stars, it should be stars, which are much heavier than the sun. 5 times heavier, 10 times heavier, 15 times heavier. These stars can actually make heavier elements like iron. But it is not enough that a star makes heavy elements, because star can make heavy element, लेकिन वो element वो star के अंदर रह जाएगा. So how are we going to see it? How will they come out of stars? So for that, I guess you will guess what has to happen. The star actually has to explode. Okay? And that is what we sometimes call as supernova. So to get these elements out, we actually need a supernova explosion. Okay? So the picture that you see here is actually the picture of the Crab Nebula. If some of you are enthusiasts in looking at the sky, you can see it in the sky. It is very nicely visible through even a simple telescope. This was a supernova which was actually seen on Earth in the year 1054, so more than 1,000 years ago. Okay, so this is what I call the story of a star. So long ago, so maybe more than 5 billion years ago, there was a star. This star exploded and became a supernova. The pieces of this supernova were scattered throughout the galaxy. And in some region of the galaxy, these pieces came together and they formed our solar system. So notice what we did. We started with the question saying, how is the Earth formed? What is inside the Earth? And after all this, we found that all our origin was inside a big supernova. So ये जो story है, story of a star, ये हमारी story है. So story of the explosion of a star is the story of the birth of the Earth. Okay? So ये जो है, it is called as the जन्म कथा, पृथ्वी की जन्म कथा. ये हमारी जन्म कथा. Each and every atom which is inside our bodies actually at some point of time was inside a star. Okay? very together in a very, very small region. Okay? So in fact, you are sitting in Sagar, I am sitting in Mumbai, okay? But all the atoms inside our bodies at some point of time were inside the core of the same star. Okay? So this also brings the world together. हम सब एक ही जगह के अणु रेणु से बने हुए। So the question is, ये सुपरनोवा एक्सप्लोजन जो है वो कैसे होता है? तो मैं उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा आपको बता दूं। So what happens inside very, very big stars is there is what is called an onion structure. Okay, so मतलब inside there is iron core, बाहर हाइड्रोजन होता है, के अंदर हीलियम होता है, हीलियम is heavier than hydrogen, so it goes inside. उसके हाथ में ऑक्सीजन होता है, ऑक्सीजन, नाइट्रोजन, सिलिकॉन होता है, और बाद में उसके अंदर आयन। नाउ आयन के आगे जाना बहुत कठिन होता है। इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल टू गो बियॉन्ड आयन बिकॉज आयन इज द मोस्ट स्टेबल न्यूक्लियर एलिमेंट। तो फिर क्या होता है कि द न्यूक्लियर रिएक्शन स्टॉप। व्हेन न्यूक्लियर रिएक्शन स्टॉप, gravity takes over. Okay? Gravity says that I want to bring everything together, okay, and therefore this whole star starts to collapse. So बड़ा स्टार होता है वो छोटा 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 होते जाता है, वो बहुत डेंस होते जाता है। इतना डेंस होता है कि the density of this star becomes more than nuclear density. तो न्यूक्लियस की ज्यादा डेंसिटी हो नहीं सकती है, तो when this shrinks down, it also bounces back. Just like जब हम बॉल फेंकते हैं, बॉल जब जमीन पे पड़ता है वो फिर से ऊपर उछलता है। Similarly, this star becomes very small and then bounces back. Okay? So this star again starts expanding. Now what happens during this time is there are many neutrinos produced because now nuclear reactions have started. This is a very, very dense star. These neutrinos try to come out of the star. When they try to come out, they push the star from inside. Because of this push, finally the star explodes. So इसका मतलब है कि the supernova explodes because neutrinos push it from inside. तो अब तक क्या देखा हमने? हमने देखा कि सूर्य के चमकने में न्यूट्रिनो का सहभाग है, because neutrinos are required for the sun to shine. और पृथ्वी के निर्माण में या सूर्यमाला के निर्माण में भी न्यूट्रिनो का सहभाग है, क्योंकि न्यूट्रिनो ने वो स्टार का एक्सप्लोजन किया था और उस स्टार से जो एलिमेंट बाहर निकले उससे हमारी पृथ्वी बन गई। So this tells you that neutrinos have played a very, very important role in our lives. तो न्यूट्रिनो और कहाँ होते हैं? मैंने आपको सूरज बता दिया, मैंने आपको सुपरनोवा बता दिया, लेकिन वैसे कहा जाए तो न्यूट्रिनोज आर एवरीवेयर अराउंड अस। सन इज व्हाट वी सॉ, सुपरनोवा हियर इज व्हाट वी सॉ। नाउ यू कैन सी अर्थ हियर। इनसाइड द अर्थ देयर आर रेडियोएक्टिव एलिमेंट्स लाइक यूरेनियम, थोरियम, पोटेशियम। They all give us neutrinos. I don't know, some of you may have eaten the banana in the morning. Banana has potassium. Potassium 40 is an isotope of potassium. It's always inside the banana. Okay, so if you have eaten banana in the morning, you are a source of neutrinos now. Neutrinos coming out of your body. Don't worry, it has nothing to do, it has nothing will happen to your health. It's perfectly natural. Okay, that neutrinos just pass through our bodies, and sometimes even we become source of neutrinos because we eat bananas. न्यूक्लियर रिएक्टर जो है वो न्यूट्रिनोस देते हैं। पार्टिकल एक्सीलरेटर्स है जो सर्न जैसे, अपने लार्ज हेड्रॉन कोलाइडर का नाम सुना होगा, वो भी न्यूट्रिनोस देते हैं। जब बिग बैंग हुआ कुछ 14 बिलियन ईयर्स पहले, तो उसमें से न्यूट्रिनो आ गए जो सब जगह फैले हुए हैं। और इनफैक्ट इफ वी हमने एक क्वेश्चन पूछा था कि व्हाट हैपेंस इफ आई गो अवे फ्रॉम द स्टार्स एवरीवेयर इन सम कॉर्नर ऑफ द यूनिवर्स। एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम यू विल ऑलवेज सी सम न्यूट्रिनोस। देयर विल बी नो स्टार्स बट देयर विल बी न्यूट्रिनोस। यू ऑलवेज सी सम लाइट एंड सम न्यूट्रिनोस। फिर अर्थ का एटमॉस्फेयर जो है उसमें कॉस्मिक रेज आते हैं, तो हमने देखा कि कॉस्मिक रे से न्यूट्रिनो निकलते हैं, सो वो भी हम देखते हैं। और कभी कभी जो इनसाइड द स्काई sometimes many violent events happen like gamma ray burst, like active galactic nuclei. So from there also sometimes we see neutrinos coming. So neutrinos are basically there almost every time. What is important is they can act as messengers from the stars. Why is that? We saw that light comes from the surface of star, but neutrinos come from inside the star. If you want to see what is happening inside a star, light will not help. Okay? So neutrinos help us in actually looking at what's happening inside the star. So they really show us what is inside the star. Okay? They come in a straight line, so they also show us where is the star. So we know which star things are coming from. So we can see what's inside the star. Sometimes they can tell us what is happening inside the star or what's going to happen to the star. So for example, suppose there is a supernova which is going to explode. Neutrinos will come to us earlier because no, they will tell us what's happening inside. So अंदर जो अगर स्टार के अंदर कुछ खलबली मची हो, तो we will know it before the खलबली actually reaches the surface and blows up the star. So for a supernova, for example, we can see the neutrinos about 1 day before the star explodes. So it's a very important application of neutrinos. So हमें क्या चाहिए न्यूट्रिनो के लिए? सो एक तो हमें चाहिए कि एक डिटेक्टर चाहिए, प्रयोगशाला चाहिए, जगह चाहिए जहाँ से हम न्यूट्रिनो देख सके। वो जगह जमीन के नीचे चाहिए, सो वी हैव टू गो अंडरग्राउंड। सेकंड थिंग वी नीड इज डिटेक्टर्स व्हिच आर वेरी वेरी बिग, बड़े आकार के दर्शक चाहिए, न्यूट्रिनो दर्शक, ह्यूज डिटेक्टर्स। एंड थर्ड इज हमें चाहिए कि हमें लंबे समय तक राह देखने की तैयारी चाहिए। तो न्यूट्रिनो के जो एक्सपेरिमेंट होते हैं वो ऐसे 10 मिनट में नहीं होते, जैसे आप कॉलेज के लैब में होते हैं कि एक एक्सपेरिमेंट 3 घंटे का होता है, ऐसा होता नहीं है। न्यूट्रिनो हमने देखा कि एक दिन में शायद हमें कुछ 10 न्यूट्रिनो मिल जाए, तो उससे तो कुछ ज्यादा किया नहीं जा सकता है। न्यूट्रिनो एक्सपेरिमेंट लास्ट फॉर अबाउट 10 years, 15 years, कुछ 5 साल तो लगेंगे अगर कुछ रिजल्ट आ जाए। So you need to have a long patience to do neutrino experiments. So let me show you what neutrino experiments are like. Neutrino के जो डिटेक्टर्स है वो बहुत प्रकार के होते हैं। So for example, ये जो है, this is the detector that first saw neutrinos from the sun. It was in 1960s. It had carbon tetrachloride. Okay, it is in fact like a cleaning fluid. ये जो डिटेक्टर है इसके अंदर D2O है। D2O मतलब H2O is water, D2O is heavy water. So उसमें हाइड्रोजन या ड्यूटेरियम होता है। So this was a big detector. We discovered the nature of neutrinos from the sun. Sometimes you can make neutrino detectors simply by ion. Inside the ion, neutrinos can come interact with the nuclei of ion. Sometimes you have something complicated using nuclear emulsion, and depending on what you want to see, depending on what property of neutrino you want to see, you will build different detectors. I tell you about one very interesting detector that we have on Earth. It is the largest neutrino detector on Earth. सबसे बड़ा न्यूट्रिनो दर्शक है। ये कहाँ है? ये साउथ पोल पे है। तो ये ऊपर जो दिख रहा है ना झंडा, ये झंडा जो है वो साउथ पोल का झंडा है। साउथ पोल के बराबर नीचे ये बहुत बड़ा न्यूट्रिनो दर्शक है। इट इज कॉल्ड आइस क्यूब। व्हाई इज कॉल्ड आइस क्यूब? इट लुक्स लाइक अ क्यूब ऑफ आइस। ये तो पूरा आइस है। इट्स कॉल्ड आइस क्यूब न्यूट्रिनो डिटेक्टर। इज आल्सो कॉल्ड हिमदुर्बीन। और उसमें ऑफ कोर्स बर्फ है। कितना बर्फ है? 1 के ऊपर 12 0, 10 to the power 12 liters of ice. So really huge ice. How is this built? One thing is that the ice comes free. Secondly, this is very big. So ये जो ऊपर फोटो है ये आईफेल टावर है। So you can see compared to Eiffel Tower, this is at least 3 times bigger than Eiffel Tower in height. Plus it is very very wide. So what you do is from the top you have this rope. On this rope, you put these bright dots are those detectors that I showed you in superconductor. These are called photomultiplier tubes. So what you do is you lower this rope inside the earth. Yes, actually what people do is they pour boiling water. So ice melts. When ice melts, this rope can go very slowly inside till it reaches all the way down. It goes, the length of the rope is 2.5 kilometers, 2.4 kilometers, so really, really long rope. So after some time, the ice freezes and you have got one line of these detectors. So this is one line. Like that, you can make hundreds of these vertical ropes that you see on the right hand side. And when a neutrino passes through it, sometimes it gives you an electron. Electron can travel, and then you can see this photomultiplier tubes. They give you light, and it allows you to see where the neutrino came from. Very interesting part. I mean, the fact that you can go to South Pole and make a detector like this, which is not 2 kilometers inside the Earth, itself is a very, very exciting thing. And again, I insist that this is something that is not possible without proper use of technology. जो neutrinos are produced in the atmosphere, they were seen for the first time in India. Okay, and this was a detector which was inside Kolar gold fields. I don't know. There is a recent movie called KGF 2. I think I don't know how many of you have seen this. This KGF is Kolar gold fields. These are ये सोने की खदान थी, अभी वो बंद हो गई है. लेकिन inside these gold fields, there was an experiment which was set up by a few institutions. One of them was TIFR, my institution. And in 1965, in this detector, we saw the first ever neutrino from the atmosphere, first in the world, first on Earth. So this was a very big achievement that is credited to India. Okay? So if you haven't seen KGF, see KGF. You can ignore everything else in the movie, but try to see what that mine was like. Okay? And that mine was chosen to make this detector. That mine is now unfortunately closed because the gold is over. So sona nahi hai, so people don't want to spend money on maintaining the mine. But Indians, we are trying to make what is called as India-based neutrino observatory. भारतीय neutrino वेधशाला. मतलब क्या है? What we will do is we will try to look for a mountain. उस mountain में एक टनल बनाएंगे. यहाँ से ये entrance portal है. ऐसा हमारा रेलवे टनल होता है ना, रेलवे का या बस का टनल, ट्रांस का टनल, वो टनल बनाएंगे. अब कुछ 2 किलोमीटर टनल बनाएंगे और इस पहाड़ के अंदर जाएंगे. So when you are at this place, now you see any cosmic ray coming from any of these sides will have to pass through this rock. Okay, and it means that all the other particles will get filtered out by this rock. It's a very, very big filter. And inside this cavern, you will only see neutrinos coming. Okay, and we will see these neutrinos. These neutrinos will be detected by this detector called as ion calorimeter. Okay, and this is the picture of this detector that we are trying to build. What is the uniqueness of this detector? ये detector जो है, ये विश्व का सबसे बड़ा विद्युत चुंबक होने वाला है. The largest electromagnet in the world. उसका साइज कितना होगा? 16 मीटर बाय 16 मीटर बाय 50 मीटर. 50 मीटर लंबाई, 16 मीटर width, 16 मीटर height. Okay, it's a 50 kiloton ion calorimeter. I'm sure that people who are in electrical engineering in Adina will definitely appreciate this, and maybe even students will appreciate this. It is really very, very difficult to make this. That's why it has not been made anywhere in the world. इसलिए इसके बनाने में we need electrical engineers who are able to build this neutrino detector. We need mechanical engineers, because constructing something which is as big as 50 meters by 16 by 16 meters is not an easy job. Okay? You have to take care of the structural integrity and the fact that it should stay there and work for 20 years without breaking down. making this tunnel is also as important, because you have to make the tunnel without affecting anything in the rock. However, we have very capable civil engineers who are able to make the tunnels. So you see, the final aim is to look at neutrinos, which are very fundamental particles. And you may think that, oh, this is just a question of fundamental science. Okay, but of course, Adina is an institution of science and technology. Okay? So we have to combine both of them to understand this science, which is science of neutrinos. We really need technology, and we need engineers who are experts in electrical engineering, mechanical, and civil engineering. So actually, if any one of you present here wants to be a part of this, they should contact this organization, can contact me. I can get you in touch with them. It's called INO, India West Neutrino Observatory, and we are going to need help from all the engineers, and also, of course, all the scientists and physicists who want to study neutrinos or want to study things that come from the sky. So inside this, we will keep the detector, and we will try to look for new properties of neutrinos. Neutrino के नए गुणों की खोज हम यहाँ करेंगे, and we will be the first ones, perhaps, to discover some properties of neutrinos which we do not know. Okay. So ये न्यूट्रिनो है, तो सूर्यकण है, इनके बारे में हम लोग we are talking now for maybe about 45 minutes. So where do they come from? ये कहाँ से आते हैं? ये क्या क्या कर सकते हैं? उनके गुणधर्मों की खोज कैसे की जा सकती है? How do you try to look for them? Which properties can you study of? How can you make use of them? Okay? Is it only very fundamental, or can you actually apply them? Application based research. इस पर कई सालों तक we will be doing research. अनुसंधान चलता रहेगा. न्यूट्रिनो का डिस्कवरी हुए अभी कुछ 70-80 साल हुए हैं, लेकिन now we are at a stage where we understand neutrinos and we can actually try to study them and try to do research about them. तो अभी तो immediate applications neutrinos के नहीं है, but from whatever we have understood, we know that in future, after many decades, we will be able to use the neutrinos, okay, for many applications. Okay. Let me give you a small hint of what those applications can be. One major applications, which is very important, okay, even from our security point of view, is monitoring of nuclear reactors. See, I told you before that neutrinos can pass through anything. What does this mean? This means that if you want to start a nuclear reactor or make a nuclear reaction, okay, by hiding it from the rest of the world, it will no longer be possible, because you cannot stop the neutrinos coming from nuclear reactor. This also makes things very democratic, because any country will not be able to stop this. Okay, so however strong a country is, it is not possible for them to stop neutrinos coming from the nuclear reactor. And therefore, if the world comes together and builds a network of neutrino detectors throughout the world, then there will be no possibility of hidden nuclear reactors, and the world overall will become a safer place. Second application that people are thinking about is finding of oil deposits below the earth without digging. Okay? Now, normally what happens is oil wells are very often they try to find it mainly by guess. Okay, because you know something, you keep on digging at places where you think there will be oil. Okay, but many a times, if you are not sure how much to dig, when to give up, okay, many times the efforts go waste. However, neutrinos, because they pass through the earth, you can use them to find oil deposits, okay, without actually digging. That's a very useful thing. The third thing they will be useful for is for communication. So, see, this is the earth on the right hand side. if I want to send a message from Mumbai or Sagar to, let's say, other end of the earth, let's say to New York, the signals go via satellites. Okay? So they go all the way around the earth. They follow the surface of the earth like this. But neutrinos can pass through the earth like this red line. Now you realize that this straight line has smaller length than going along the surface. So therefore, this signal along red line will reach faster than the signal that is coming from the satellites. So in fact, the communication by neutrinos can actually happen faster in principle than the satellites. Okay. However, this also means that we should develop a technology to be able to do all of these three things, for example. So technology at the current level is not at that level. Okay, so therefore I say it's going to need a few decades to be able to do it. So to do that, we are going to need two things. We are going to need fundamental science for understanding of neutrinos, okay, so that we should first know the properties before we use them, right? And secondly, we need technology for building detectors and perhaps also making neutrinos. And that is why, although the talk might have seen more on the fundamental science of elementary particle, a large reason why we know about this fundamental particle is because of the technology that got developed over the years in order to detect neutrinos. And that's why I think that giving this talk on National Technology Day was very appropriate. And I again thank Adina Institute for inviting me to do this talk and communicate with you all. I'll be very happy to take wait for me.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an informative lecture. Thank Thank you so much, sir.
Anyway, there seems to be some echo problems there in the hall where the students are sitting and watching your presentation. Sir, Dr. Amol Doghe, sir, I express sincere thanks to you for your wonderful and insightful presentation regarding a very unusual particle that is called neutrino, that is all around us, and still we are not knowing. We are the lay persons, we are not knowing. So I express thanks, gratitude from Adina Institute of Science and Technology to you for sharing your valuable thoughts and sparing your valuable time on this particular event. Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Moving on, it's time to invite the next speaker, Dr. Sanjeet Dwivedi, sir. So completed engineering degree with Prof at University Ave West. The passion and interest in research, development brought here the technical and traditional avenue, where sir joined Government Engineering College Sagar as Class 1 officer. Sir interest to business directed him to MIT Boston's Sloan School of Management for executive leadership education, include product development and later to Southern Denmark University. The completed MSc Engineering, Education Innovation and Business with specialization on business strategy. Sir, recognized by CEO and President of Danfoss for his Scrum, bringing innovative ideas for digital products in 2015 with Man on the Moon Award. I request Dr. Dwivedi sir to grace us with his knowledge. Sir is going to talk about the engineering profession and the gateways to build a passion. Over to you, sir.
Sanjeet sir. Sanjeet sir.
Hello, Prashant sir. Sanjeet sir is ready. He is just in a few seconds he will be on camera.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir. You are right.
Okay, very good.
हाँ बेटे कैमरा नहीं हो पा रहा है, पता नहीं क्या रीजन है अब। हाँ।
I think our director sir, Dr. Sunil Jain sir, was saying something. I request our director sir.
ओके सर गंगेली जी,
Yes sir.
मेरा कैमरा ऑन नहीं हो रहा।
Sir, no
डॉक्टर
problem.
संजीत द्विवेदी, हाँ नहीं मेरा पुराना परिचय द्विवेदी जी से, तो बड़ी खुशी हुई कि आज टेक्नोलॉजी डे पे हमारी से मुलाकात हो पा रही है। अभी मैं ऑनलाइन जॉइन को विद कैमरा। द्विवेदी जी आपको शायद याद होगा, सारी पुरानी यादें हैं, हम लोग की मुलाकात एक बार हुई है, अभी आप उसमें देखेंगे तो आई थिंक यू विल रिमेम्बर, है ना। अभी डॉक्टर अमोल दिघे का भी हुआ और इसका महेश पांडे भी ज्वाइन करेंगे, है ना। बड़ी खुशी है, आज काफी बरसों बाद आपसे आज मुलाकात हो पा रही, और आपकी प्रेजेंस से हमारे स्टूडेंट बहुत ही बेनिफिट होंगे। और नेशनल टेक्नोलॉजी डे का दिन है आज, है ना, तो सभी के लिए बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है। कैसे एक हमारा देश है कि आत्मनिर्भर बना न्यूक्लियर की तरफ से अटल जी ने हमारा जो कार्य किया था न्यूक्लियर का, तो आज हमारा देश आत्मनिर्भर बना हुआ है। और आपकी स्पीच जो रहेगी, आपका जो वर्ड्स रहेंगे, डेफिनेटली हमारे स्टूडेंट के लिए बहुत ही मोटिवेटिंग रहेंगे। और आज के इस वेबिनार में आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। हम समझते हमारे प्रिंसिपल जी हैं, मैनेजमेंट रोहित जी हैं, हमारे फैकल्टी स्टूडेंट, आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत टीम में। गंगेली जी, हेलो।
Sir, I welcome Dr. Sanjeet Dwivedi sir in this particular event. And Sanjeet sir has also been my teacher in the Government Engineering College Sagar sometime 25 years ago. तो पहले मैं संजीत सर का बहुत बहुत आभारी हूँ, और संजीत सर से मैं रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ कि वो अपना टॉक शुरू करें। संजीत सर।
Thank you very much, Director Sir, Dr. Sunil Jain, and Principal Dr. Anshul Gangele. I'm sharing my screen, so please let me know if you see my PowerPoint. Can you see it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Can you see my PowerPoint?
So please present. Click on present button, sir. Actually, we are not getting your mail.
I'm sharing with team actually. Just a minute. What about now?
Okay, sir. It's sharing now.
Yes, and when I'm changing, you can see the change
Yes, yeah.
in the screen. Yes, very good. So I
Yes, sir.
congratulate everybody on the occasion of Technology Day in India, and I have made a presentation which is for engineering profession a gateway to build better world. And I tried to introduce myself first. So I'm living in Gråsten, that is the summer capital of Denmark, since 2008. I'm passed out of Government Engineering College, Jabalpur. I'm a Bundelkhandi from Mahoba. I did my master's from IIT Roorkee with gold medal and MSc Engineering in Innovation and Business from South Denmark University. My doctorate from IIT Delhi, and I also did my executive leadership education from MIT Boston. I'm the fellow of IIT and senior member of IEEE. Also former adjunct professor of Curtin University, Perth, Australia between 16 to 18. And I'm proud to be part of editorial board of a #1 journal in the industrial electronics, IEEE transaction on industrial electronics as well as on the transaction on mechatronics. There are some voluntary work I'm doing, industry relation coordinator of IEEE Denmark section. There are some award, and this is my affiliation, Danfoss Drive, where I'm working since 2008 in the Drive Intelligence team. This is my contact email where participant can reach to me if they are having further questions. These are my field of interest: control engineering, control of electrical drive, drive intelligence, and condition monitoring of electrical machines. So being said that, this is the place where I'm working, that's the group's team. And you can see somewhere in this corner, there is my office. And this is my company headquarters. You can see the Baltic Sea here. This place is Nordborg, which is around 40 kilometers from the place Gråsten. And I will give you some short overview of company where our company is working in climate solutions. So when we talk about green technologies and hydrogen economy for India, there I can see there are some technologies and knowledge which our companies offer, and that is on variable frequency drive control, that is for heating solution and cooling solution. And some of you may be happy to know that we have invented this cooling valve in 1938, as well as we have developed first time variable frequency drive in the world in 1968, way before any competitor like ABB and Siemens. So who we are? We are 100% focused on developing, manufacturing, and supplying AC drives. We are the world leader and first mover in variable speed control of electrical motors. Since 1968, that is our one of the core business. And in 2014, there were another milestone comes in the history of Danfoss when a spin out of ABB, Wacom, which was another drive company, we merged together and we made the world largest company in the variable frequency drive. Together, we will continue to be driven by a passion to develop, manufacture, and provide the most versatile VSDs in the world. And we can adapt any motor between 0.18 kilowatt to 5.3 megawatt and even in the medium voltage range. So being introduced, Danfoss and telling about me, let's deep dive into the presentation. And I have made a presentation like we will talk about engineering profession and why it is special and why I'm aiming our first year student and even model high school student. So this is mean for them. So why this engineering profession is a special profession, we'll talk about it. What you need to, if you want to acquainted and having expertise in this profession, what you need to do and what you don't do, and what make you an efficient engineer. I will share my experiences and maybe some guidelines. So if you are you want to join engineering as a profession, then what makes you a different one and leads among the crowd. And I have to say more and more that you are the special one. These I'm aiming to these kids who are in year 12 and aiming for engineering admission. So, and I will talk about it, why you are special and why you born with the opportunities. In the end of presentation, I will give you glimpses of green technologies and how it is making changing the world, and why our Prime Minister is saying we will become the hydrogen economy and more than $1 trillion investment in the next 5 years, and what it needs from youngsters. And so how can you make this journey possible for India to achieve autonomy in the energy world and make the India as a hydrogen economy. And in the end, we will talk about conclusion, and then floor will be open for the questions. So these are some areas. I will not take much time here, but I will. These are the 5 divisions. So we are on electrification. We are making drive trains, and we are making power modules. We are in climate change. So we are supporting data centers. We are in the big departmental store for food chain. We are providing solutions to store the food, and on urbanization, we are making off-road and on-road vehicles and heavy machinery, which is used for the urbanization journey. So before starting anything, I will share you with this picture, and some of you, maybe my colleagues and fellow faculties, they know that this Nokia was a world leader in the year 2006 to 2007, and nobody was thinking that a company which is having more than 1 million customers, and it will be ended in nowhere. But that's the life. So if we are not innovative enough in our solution and in our path and in our selections, then we can end up like this, where we are having everything, but if we don't have future direction and if we don't have intelligence and analytics, then we can be ended, and people will just don't believe, but that's the reality. So in order to make ourselves not being a commodity, we need to prioritize our things, our practice, our effort, and our planning. And then we need to foresee the event, and we need to challenge the status quo. So this is all about to change the mindset. So let's start with this slogan. Small town students have extraordinary capability. तो अगर मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि छोटे शहरों के जो बच्चे हैं, उनके पास अपार संभावनाएं हैं, तो और यहाँ पे मैं कहना चाहूंगा स्पेशली बुंदेलखंड और सागर के बच्चों से, जो स्कूली बच्चे मुझे सुन रहे हैं, उनसे, तो क्यों उनके पास अपार संभावना है? क्योंकि once they get exposure and they get the cooperative learning environment, they can do a wonder. You can name just I'm talking to the student and they can relate to their elder brother or friend of their elder brother. Just name any student who was the part of any IITs or any IIM or any good institute, he will cherish like anything. So because small town, we don't have enough opportunities, and we have not seen the best cooperative learning environment. And once we get it, we sign like anything. So we smart, and I'm relating myself with that. And I can maybe start with my own story here. Being said, so my CV and all those things, you might think that I was extraordinary from the childhood. No, it was not like my father was. He was in MP City Board, and we transferred every year. So I changed my schools and colleges, and I remember in 1988 I was a student of Kirsado Polytechnic. That was a technical school, and there I prepare to get admitted in engineering college Jabalpur, and that was needed that I should be first in the MP, and in the merit of that school I should top, because there were some direct selection, and it was a very tough task, but I did the hard work, and I prepared notes. I did the marathon work, and finally I got second rank in MP, and I got admitted in Jabalpur Engineering College. So from an average student, I went to Jabalpur, but that journey was not stopped. So I keep my have good habits, and competing with the Jabalpur engineering student, and there I topped in third year, fourth year, and final year. And at that time I got campus interview, and I got selected in Larsen Tubro in '91. That was the very rare at that time to the private companies come for the campus, and I worked there. So I can tell you that a small town student, if they are determined, they get the right direction. I mean, direction means if you are in Bina station and you want to go to Delhi, and you sit in a train which is going towards Chennai, then how can you reach there? So you need to have a right direction, and you need to choose. And I will tell about in the next few slides and how to choose your correct profession and how to just follow your dream. So when I'm saying this cooperative learning environment that give a relative advantage to the small town student, yes, that is there. And these students inherit most wonderful values already from their parent, teacher, and from local society. So when anybody says that what you possesses or what you inherit, so you inherit, you need to proud on this. And this is for my student who are from schools, that you are having ideal parent who always thinks about you. So आपके जो माता पिता हैं, उन्होंने जो आपके बारे में सोचा है, आपको जो समय दिया है, वो स्पेशल है. आपके जो टीचर हैं, उन्होंने जो आपको संस्कार दिए हैं, वो भी विशेष है. और आपकी जो लोकल सोसाइटी है, आपका जो सागर शहर है, जो या आसपास के जो तहसील या गांव है, वहां पे जो लोकल सोसाइटी है, उसकी जो वैल्यूज है, वो बहुत स्पेशल है. आप जब बड़े शहरों में रहते हो, मुंबई और दिल्ली, और इवन आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट कोपेनहेगन और अदर सिटीज इन यूरोप, then these things, they are the paid services. Like parents, they are busy with their own life. They only pay the money, or they can expose to their kid for the good thing, but they don't have so much involvement like your parents when they are talking to you, their childish stories or their dreams or their struggle of life. So they are sharing you those values who are very rare. And when it comes to the teacher, so your teachers are ideal teachers. You cannot find them in a party or in a public places doing unlawful things, but that's very common in these metro cities. And so you are getting the values from teacher, and you are getting the ideal teachers also, and learning from them, and maybe some inspiration that you want to become like them. And the local society, they always keep watch on you. So because it's a human tendency, We want to do whatever the wild or whatever the basic instinct says that, but our local society, they nurture you in a way that these values are embedded in deep inside you. So small town student, I say that you have the extraordinary capability. Now it's time to explore them. So what is the first step for your success? You need to dream, and dream so big, so big that even your peer can't believe you. But the important thing is you don't care them because you know that you can do it. So अपने आप पे आपको विश्वास करना है और आपको अपने लिए अपनी संभावनाओं को टटोलना है और अपने बारे में सोचना है कि आप क्या बनना चाहते हो, और आप जो बनना चाहते हो वो सोचोगे और आप उस पर विश्वास करोगे तो कोई आपको रोक नहीं सकता वहां तक पहुंचने में. एंड देन सिर्फ सोचना ही काफी नहीं है, you have to chase it by your hard work and determination. So आपके विश्वास और आपके मेहनत, ये दोनों चीजें भी इसके साथ जुड़नी चाहिए तो आप इसको प्राप्त कर सकते हो. And I would also emphasize here, you don't know how much blessed you are. So आप नहीं जानते आप कितने भाग्यशाली हो. मैं इन बच्चों से कह रहा हूँ जो 12वीं में है और गवर्नमेंट कॉलेजेस में, गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स में है और इंजीनियरिंग करना चाहते हैं. तो क्या आप जानते हो 70 साल पहले पूरे सेंट्रल प्रोविंस में सिर्फ 500 इंजीनियर ग्रेजुएट होते थे. सेंट्रल प्रोविंस में एमपी, यूपी, छत्तीसगढ़, उत्तराखंड और कुछ हिस्सा आपके राजस्थान का, कुछ हिस्सा गुजरात का. तो इस पूरे एरिया से सिर्फ 500 इंजीनियर बना करते थे. और हमारे टाइम पे 30 साल पहले हम लोग सिर्फ 2000 इंजीनियर होते थे पूरे मध्य प्रदेश और छत्तीसगढ़ में. क्योंकि हम अगर हम इंटरेस्ट रखते भी थे, योग्यता रखते भी थे, तो हमारे पास चांस नहीं थे. लेकिन you are the fortunate one, you can follow your dream and become an engineer, whatever. You can become a scientist, manager or entrepreneur. It's up to you, because if you are having a will to become a successful engineer, there are plenty of good engineering institutes around you and you can look into them. And it's your choice. That nobody can it's not a lottery or it's not a luck. It is your effort and which decide that what you can become. So for engineering as a successful career, why? What is your goal in life? You need to find it. So what, maybe somebody is fascinated to make electrical car, or somebody else is fascinated to make a wind plant, or somebody else is very much fascinated to contribute for the Sagar smart city project and make a DC grid or design a smart grid. I will talk about it, this is small grid, later. So that you need to have that goal in your life, and then you need to know why did you join the engineering. These things are very necessary. So who can make this change? Your institute and teacher only show you a path. They can only give you, they can only teach you that these are the best practice, this is the best path, but it's up to you who can make a successful sprint. So ये आपको डिसाइड करना है और ये आप मेहनत करेंगे और आप इस दौर में सबसे आगे होंगे. तो आपके इंस्टीट्यूट और टीचर इंजीनियरिंग में आपको सिर्फ रास्ता देना है. और ये this is true whether it is a top rank in RGPV university, that is some of you might already know, student, that these engineering courses, they are accredited with the technical university that is known as Rajiv Gandhi Pradyogiki Visyavidhalaya, and all engineering college, around 500 engineering college in MP, they comes under this university. So getting top rank, top 10 rank in this university is a big achievement. Or getting top AIR rank in UPSC selection, or GRE or GMAT, which are the courses for master admission in US and European University, or CAT, this is the common admission test for the IIM. So you need to decide, and you need to you can make it a successful sprint to achieve this tough goal, but it's up to you who will do it. So this is sometime we'll say that in Sagar or in Bundelkhand or in MP or maybe in our area, we are not having college like IITs and NITs. So I would like to emphasize here, what is the difference in your institute and IITs, NITs or foreign university? The only difference is clarity in goals. The students who are admitted there, they know that what are their goals, one thing. And hard work. They are ready for the hard work because they pass a competition which was very, very competitive, and they need to do extraordinary preparation and hard work. And another thing is a continuous learning environment. So these institutes, which we so-called institute, we say that they're the top institute, they do have a continuous learning environment. And continuous learning environment means there is a competitive learning. So students prepare themselves, and batch by batch they follow the passion for technology. They know where the technology is advances, and they do the effort to update themselves, and they hand over the knowledge to the junior batches, and continuously they grow together. Of course, they have great students like you also. So especially I will say that I don't believe that that IIT student or an IT student are different than you, because knowledge is not any trademark for anybody. It's if you do the hard work, if you invest your time, and if you develop a passion for the knowledge, you will be even better than them. So and then you have seen in the so many past year, and when I was in Govt Engineering College Sagar, I have seen that my student become UPSC, they get selected in UPSC, they get selected in public sector, or even they get selected in US university, and they are top citation, and they are doing very good research and name. So, and it is true for your institute also. And even for, I don't know how many students from the government multipurpose school, but you see the proud alumni of your school. So you already did it, and there is a path for you. You can also sign like that. And this is also my understanding that a objective exam, objective test cannot decide that who is the best. It is the continuous learning environment that decide. So you can start it, developing it in your institute. And you know, most of exposure and learning comes from the senior student to their juniors. That's very important. How can you make a big change in your approach? There are some, this is based on my experiences. So what you need to do it in order to make a big change? You must have a role model to playfully reach your goal. So आपका कोई रोल मॉडल जरूर होना चाहिए. वो आपके टीचर हो सकते हैं, आपके बड़े भाई हो सकते हैं, आपके पिताजी हो सकते हैं, या कोई साइंटिस्ट हो सकते हैं, या कोई इंजीनियर हो सकते हैं, जिनको भी आप जानते हो. तो ये रोल मॉडल मतलब ऐसे ना हो कि जो जिन्होंने जो लक के बल पे या किस्मत के बल पे कुछ बन गए हो, नहीं, जिन्होंने हार्ड वर्क किया हो और डिफरेंस क्रिएट किया हो. तो अगर आपके पास कोई रोल मॉडल रहेगा तो आप अपने बड़े गोल को चेस करने में आपको बहुत आसानी होगी. एंड आपको अपने साथ अपना समय बिताना चाहिए. तो विथ योर पेरेंट एंड योर लाइक माइंडेड फ्रेंड, यू मस्ट हैव spend your time with them, and always find time to play any sport at least 2-3 hours in a week. So more than that may be good, but people say that you need to study, that is necessary, but play or sports, that is also equally important. So if you are, I remember my time, so we were in Development Engineering College, and we were doing the night out. So night out means we started study around after taking dinner 9 o'clock, and then we do the study until morning 4 o'clock. But in between there were short pause, and then at that time we were playing table tennis, or sometime we are doing we were making a walk up the our outside of our hostel. So in that way we make awake, and we were doing the exercises too. And in the daytime, in the weekend, we were playing cricket. So doing hard, doing the sprint of 8 hour study also, but on the same time having time for the play. And what next in your journey? Always think and plan next 2 moves in your career like a chess. So this is very, very important when you decide your future career. So if you say that I would like to become engineer, and particularly in computer science or in power electronics or in civil engineering, whatever you think, but that should not be end of life. You need to have alternative for that. And even when you join the engineering, you must have your profession with your choice and with the alternative, because life is not so simple. You cannot make a bet, और आप जिंदगी को एक बाजी की तरह नहीं ले सकते. तो आपके पास एक से ज्यादा अवसर होने चाहिए, और आपके कैरियर में चॉइसेस होनी चाहिए, जिससे कि आप, अगर आपका जो ड्रीम जॉब है या ड्रीम कैरियर है वो आपको नहीं मिले, तो आप दूसरे या तीसरे चॉइस आपको मिल सके. क्योंकि लाइफ इज लाइफ लॉन्ग जर्नी, एंड learning is always there, and you can grow at any time. For example, I can share my experience. I started from, as I told, I graduated from Jabalpur and joined Larsen Tubro for 1 year, and later I developed interest for research and teaching. So through Public Service Commission, I joined Sagar Engineering College as a lecturer, and afterward I did masters and PhD from IIT Roorkee and Delhi, and I developed research interest further and developing new technologies and new products. So I joined Danfoss in 2008, and I'm doing here like I do have more than 11 patents, 3 research books, and affiliation of many universities as a visiting faculty or examiner. So there is a chances, always chances, if you follow your dream, and but you cannot be rigid, like if I'm not getting chance for the research, so I should not join any other job. You need to. So you must have next 2-3 move in your career like a chess. And what I can see right now through this webinar, that a good number among you will be part of IITs and NITs and leading R&D labs, and maybe in the Danish University also you can join. I can see that you are having the same proud on your Bundeli heritage. It's very, very important. When you carry your heritage, Bundeli heritage, then you are proud of your surrounding, you are proud of your parent, you are proud of your culture, and keep it always with you. So you are proud of your Bundeli heritage, your Bundelkhandi language. I have to share one interesting story. In Denmark, we are only 5.5 million people, only 55 lakhs people. But you know, in every meeting, when we are doing the meeting with US or China or India or anywhere, global meetings, our colleagues, they are talking in English, of course, but whenever they are having time in between the meeting also, they start talking in Danish. So they don't have any you can say any regret, or like we develop that our mother tongue is not a proud language. We must have that, and we must embrace that, because once you compromise with your values, once you compromise with your language, then compromise start for everything, and people can use like a robot, and without and you will kill your all emotions. So that's my very sincere advice. And then other thing is, we say that English is very important. Yes, it is important, because all the journals, all the research books, all the engineering knowledge, that is contained in English. So you need to learn it, but you need not to you need not to leave your Bundeli culture, Bundeli language, and very heritage. You need to keep that with you, because in UK, in United Kingdom, every sweeper who clean the toilet, he speak English. So if speaking English will be a criteria to become a top scientist or top knowledgeable person, then that sweeper should not clean the toilet. So keep it this logic in your mind always. When people dominate you with the language, language is a mean, and it cannot. The content is that hard work, and आपने जो मेहनत की है सालों में, कई सालों में, जो आपने सीखा है, वो डिसाइड करेगा कि आपका फ्यूचर प्रोफेशन क्या है और आप दुनिया को कैसे बदल सकते हो. लैंग्वेज नहीं बदलेगी. लैंग्वेज तो मैंने जैसे बताया, यूके का स्वीपर भी इंग्लिश बोलता है, तो फिर तो इंग्लिश बोलना अगर बहुत अच्छी बात होती है और लैंग्वेज, हमारी लैंग्वेज खराब होती, उनकी लैंग्वेज अच्छी होती, तो फिर वहां पे कोई स्वीपर नहीं होता. And then you have to make proud on your alma mater and your region. So and you need to feed back to your alma mater. How much time I'm having? I think I need to. Dr. Anshul, how much time I'm having?
Sir, you have got ample time because next session is from 4, sir. You have got ample time. You take your time, sir, please.
So maybe in next 20 minutes I will try to close it.
No, sir. Please, you take your time, sir. No problem, sir.
Okay, thank you. So some reason for joining engineering, that my parent wanted to be engineer. After 12, either you become doctor or engineer. So I was not cut out for doctor, so I choose engineering. And nor did I want to do BSc. So that's why I'm doing the engineering. And these should not be the cases. You must decide that you want to become engineer. And you must have challenges to solve. You must have curiosity in the profession or knowledge, and you must have excitement to do it. And money, travel, status, they all follow you. So you need not to follow them, or that should not be your inspiration. To make a difference in the world or change the way things work, that should be the motto. So you want to be engineer, then so you want to make a difference in the world, and that difference maybe that I'm talking to this difference. I'm having a very interesting example. Being engineer and then knowing the problem of farmers, I was always surprised. How can I solve this issue with the power supply and this pump motor, irrigation motor control? Because in the rural areas, voltage is fluctuated, and sometimes only single phase supply comes, or sometimes there is a lot of variation in the voltage, and that can burn the motor. And even in the night time, farmer need to go to their field and see whether pump is running or not. So this was a problem, and I got a student in IIT Roorkee. He was my PhD student, and now he's an entrepreneur. So he's working on this problem, and now he developed a device which is sensing the voltages and power quality, and then it is interacted with the WhatsApp and with the app, and it gives the indication to the farmer remote, far away from the field, that if he can start his pump or not, and simply he can use this WhatsApp app and he can start his pump. So this way, and then I'm quite sure if proper funding will be received to this student, and if he will be successful, then that will be the game changer in the farmer's life. And then the same way, if you are having some problem around you, you can also think of them, and you can become an engineer to solve those problems. So and then might be you are understanding what I want to say you, that you will not aim that I will be in Sichai Vibhag or Bijli Vibhag or PWD Vibhag. You need to see the real problem in the world, and then you know that how much money you can earn. There is no limit for that, and you will be an entrepreneur, like people will name you. So, and there are a lot of problem around you, which from my entrepreneur I can see, and you can also, if you become a you want to keep your passion for becoming engineer, then you can see those problems and then try to learn the skills. How can you do? How can you solve the problem? It can be other things like job in big company, or I want to start something of my own. So entrepreneurship. So these might be the reason, but you need to have a clever choice that you are having a passion and you want to make a big difference in the world. That would be and you want to solve the problem of the society. So what is the formula for success? There is no one formula, but engineering is a field that requires many people with different skills to work together to solve complex problems. So it always there is a way you want to become success, and you need to have your team, and you work with the cross-functional capability colleagues, and then you can make a big change. Like best engineering problem, there is no single algorithm to follow, but there are best practices and there are things to avoid. So there is no single algorithm, but there are the best practices. And best practices means you need to update your knowledge, you need to have keen eye on the problem, you need to understand what customer want, really what customer want, and how can you achieve that with limited resources and with limited investment. And on the same time, what you need to avoid, that you need not to make the same mistake what prior project did, or what your other colleagues did in the past. So you need to learn from there, and do not make all mistakes yourself. This is the very interesting line, and you need to keep in your mind that if you are making all mistake by yourself, then you don't have chance to grow. You're all the time, of course, making mistake. That is also a clever choice because you try something, but try to learn from others people's mistake also. So learning from others' error is much better than making all the mistake yourself. So for getting started, what are you passionate about? Do that. Mere competence will never trump real passion. So passion is necessary, but competence is also necessary, and competence required that you do the hard work. Match your skill interest to what world want. I told you earlier, relate your passion, skill and interest, what world want, what are the problem around your society, or what you see that those problems should be solved. Your answer will change with time. So let career evolve. You can find career value in any job, but just do outstanding work, no matter the task. And it is mostly the choice you make, not talent or IQ. So you need to do the outstanding work. And for you, when you join the engineering profession, you need to learn very specifically that not only you learn the drawing, and when it comes to the drawing, then you learn the software like NXP 7.5 Siemens PLM software for your drawing thing. So, and that's like a fun, like a mobile game. You can draw the 3D drawings with that software, and it's a textbook thing. You use the mini drafter and other things, but at the same time, in the virtual world also, you can use these tools because companies are using these NXP for CAD design and 3D design, and even for additive manufacturing and all those things. And same way you learn for structures, so you must have this knowledge of the software which use for structural design, and same machine design. So you know that FE packages, FE design, finite element design. So these tools, they are part of your curriculum. But you need to do the extra effort so that you can learn those softwares because of your interest, and you will be surprised that these all companies, you name the software, that there is a free version, student version is available from every company, because their business that lies on your soldiers. So if you learn those software, you will go to the company, then you will ask your companies to provide you that software. So that's why whatever the costly software is there, there is a free of cost version, student version is available, and you can learn and you can develop your competence with that. So, and which engineering profession to choose? So what engineering for you when you are going to engineering college, what branch you want to select? So look 20 years out and place your career as a bet. So not now, but what is जो भेड़ चाल चल रही है, जो अभी जो हो रहा है उस पर ना ध्यान देके आपको अगले 20 सालों के बारे में सोचना चाहिए. So which technologies or business domain are most powerful, promising? Is it biotech, IT, green energy, healthcare, telecom, or microfinance? You need to look into it. And which line up to your personal belief system? What is line up with your personal belief? आपने क्या सोचा है, आपको क्या अच्छा लगता है, आपको किसके बारे में कौन सा ऐसा सपना है या ऐसा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल फॉर मी, मैं अपने बारे में बता सकता हूँ. तो क्योंकि पिताजी मेरे विद्युत विभाग में इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बोर्ड में थे, तो उनके साथ जो हमारी कॉलोनियां हुआ करती थी वहाँ पे सब स्टेशन होते थे विद्युत विभाग के. तो बचपन से ही उनको ट्रांसफार्मर, सर्किट ब्रेकर, रिलेज और वो सब देखे. तो एक अलग सा पैशन था कि हमें इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर करना. तो ऐसा आपके साथ भी हो सकता है. तो लेकिन क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको सिर्फ टेक्नोलॉजी डायनेमिक्स के बारे में सोचना है, आपको ये भी सोचना है कि जो चीजें चल रही हैं उसमें भी ऐसे पैशनेट लोग चाहिए. जो एक्जिस्टिंग टेक्नोलॉजी, जैसे रेलवे है, रेलवे कभी बंद नहीं होगी. रेलवे ऑफ कोर्स मैच्योर हो चुकी है टेक्नोलॉजी, एवरीथिंग इज you see, it reaches to a level where no more innovation is needed. But on the same time, there is a scope for bullet train, there is a scope for green energy based EV, and of course many other things. So there are few people are needed who are in the core technologies and they are having passion and determination to work with it. So then startup versus big corporate, that is the more for once you complete your engineering education, so where you want to go. And nowadays trend is towards the startup. So people are trying, they are going to big corporate, but they come back and they start their own business. So for building your career, I will emphasize that you focus on yourself, know your career path, and know that whether you are good in individual contribution or you are good in management. And as I told, technology changes rapidly. Keep yourself updated. Look for training, attend workshops, and look on the technology and its dynamics. So this might be when you complete your engineering, then this way you can build your career. So these are some resources. Your alma mater must stay connected with that. IEEE ACM that participate and network with that. And in India, we are having Institute of Engineers and IETE and these institutions where you can do the networking. Books you read outside your specialty. LinkedIn, that is a very good professional networking tool, and I suggest everybody should have their own LinkedIn profile. And you should have balancing study, play, and free time. So as I told you, study alone, that might be not a best thing. And again, I can relate here a story, short story. That's not it's a true story. I remember I was there in UPSC, the railway hospital, because you know that when you selected in UPSC, you give the interview, the same time you go for the railway hospital for medical board examination. So we were doing our checkup, and one guy from Andhra, we came to know that he lost his one lung. So he was having only one lung, and his another lung was totally collapsed. There were no sign of any lungs, and that we came to know that. So I know the extreme. You are doing very good, and you're not taking care of your health, and that can end in this kind of bad surprises. So balancing study, that play, and free time, you must have balance on that. So these are few things that that can make you ahead of your professional life. That communication, that is very important tool. So writing and presentation, you must learn good habit, good skill, good knowledge about it, and you must know the corporate and team culture. Over promising versus over delivering. These are both things are bad. Sometimes it might be interesting for all participants. Sometimes we think that over promising that I can do it, मैं ये भी कर सकता हूँ, मैं ये भी कर दूंगा, मैं ये भी कर दूंगा, अपन ये बोलते रहते हैं. और इसका ऐसा नहीं है कि आप चाहते नहीं है करना, लेकिन आपके पास समय तो 24 आवर ही है, तो आप कहाँ से जो भी आप प्रॉमिस करेंगे वो पूरा नहीं कर पाएंगे. तो अंत में एक ऐसा टाइम आएगा कि जब आपको इम्प्रेस होना पड़ेगा. और दूसरी चीज है ओवर डिलीवरी. दैट इज आल्सो नॉट ए गुड थिंग. आप जब सोचते हो, ये एक बहुत ही मतलब एक साइकोलॉजिकल थिंग है कि आप अगर ओवर डिलीवरी करते हो तो इसका मतलब है कि आप गलतियां करने की गुंजाइश रखते हो, और आपकी वो गलतियां ओवर डिलीवरी में हो सकता है कि आपकी पूरी डिलीवरी जो आपने करी है और एक ऐसी डिलीवरी जो गलती कर दे, वो आपकी पूरी ओवर डिलीवरी को कंपनसेट नहीं कर पाएगी. आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को इतना बड़ा नुकसान हो जाएगा कि वो पूरा नहीं हो पाएगा. क्योंकि जब आप ओवर डिलीवरी कर रहे हो तो आपका ध्यान इस पे है कि आप कैसे डिलीवर कर दो चीजों को. आपका ध्यान इस पे नहीं है कि कैसे इफिशिएंटली और अच्छे तरीके से आप चीजों को डिलीवर करो. तो ओवर डिलीवरी विल, दिस इज आल्सो नॉट ए गुड थिंग. सो ओवर प्रॉमिसिंग, यू मस्ट हैव बैलेंस बिटवीन दीज टू. And getting ahead in a professional career, that do outstanding work and trust that reward will follow. And how work with people who do outstanding work. So always team up with the people who are doing good, and it's good. It's also related in your education. So try to join the group who is having more competence than you, so that you are forced to learn and you are forced to compete with them. And be visual outside of your own company. It means good for company, good for industry, and good for you. You can do the write papers, you can attend conferences, and you can do the peer reviews. And here we talk about technical leadership. So take on hard, challenging problem at work. Be a go-to person where organization believe on you, and gain depth in technology, business domain at your work. And leadership is around, it is about 360-degree leadership. So leading above, below, and at your level. Know your strength and weakness, and leverage strength and fill in weakness. So whatever your strength, you can work on, use them. And of course, where are your weakness? Then you are in leadership, you must have a team or colleague who can help you to develop yourself or to solve your problem. So, and dealing with your failure, if you never fail, you aren't trying hard enough. And not all failure equally forgivable. So well conceived risk, that is good. You must know where is the risk, and learn from your failure. Do not blame others, and own up and take responsibility. So that is also important. So these are some career paths. After doing your engineering, you can do MTech, MBA, or PhD. You can do the research after acquiring PhD. You can do ongoing education training. You can monitor what university are working on. And in IEEE, for example, or in research world, you can review paper, submit paper, attend conferences. And don't give up your non-engineering interest. They will inform your engineering. They will keep you connected to the non-tech world, and they will keep you from burning out. So you keep continuing your hobbies and keep your non-engineering interest with you. So being said that, I promise you to touch upon this green energy technology, but we want to conclude now. So being said that, everybody knows that after Paris Agreement, the world is moving towards rapid decarbonization. And we already know that our Prime Minister last year, he stated that India will be a green economy, and we do the hydrogen economy, and more than $1 trillion are invested and planned. And of course, our private sector is promised that they can reduce the price from the hydrogen from $5 per kg to $1 per kg in next 5 years. That's very good. I can see the scenario where we can have self-reliance on the energy. So if you know, if you see this is the conventional coal plant and how hazardous it, and there is a window of opportunity is closing very fast, and meaningful action is needed to take to limit the planet increase in temperature. And this can be done by introduction of green energy. So we can reduce the CO2 emission, and we can combat for global warming. And for that, we need solar, wind, or fuel cell, and power electronics. That is my specialization. That is essential for harnessing energy from solar, wind, or fuel cell, or even green energy sources. So converter, inverter, and solid state transformer. They are the building block for this power electronics, and electrical drive that also play a major role in that. Future green energy system, they will provide safe, secure, and reliable energy while delivering access to all energy consumers. They will supplying energy at affordable price and assuring sustainable development. There are, they will involve massive changes in technical and organizational level, and they need considerable effort of next generation, our youth, as well as our research community, as well as our academic institute. They need to work for this. So this must be economical, environmentally, and socially viable while meeting high security requirements. This is an example where green energy system for future, how it look like. So instead of this generating station or coal-fired plant, this can be a wind or solar power plant, and this power is replaced by the green energy sources. And here in the distribution level or secondary customer level, it can be a rooftop solar which can feed the local energy need. These are some comparison of different energy sources, and then you will be surprised that solar PV, this per megawatt hour price, that coming to around $43, and this slide is around more than 1 year old. So you see that solar power plant that is now viable, and it is the cheapest one among other energy sources. So this green energy that is coming from renewable energy or solar energy, that is having a big role. And we engineer and scientists, we are having also lot of opportunity to work here. We can increase the solar cell efficiency, we can work for it, or we can develop a transparent solar cell because there are researches going on, or even we can, there were, I was reading some article that there were some solar cells which will produce electricity in the night also. So how can they do? They will use a special enzyme and they will store energy. So in the daytime, they will convert solar energy to electricity and to enzymes, and these in the night time, these enzymes will convert energy to electrical energy. So this way, we can develop new era of solar cells, which not only develop the electricity from in the daytime, but in the night time also. This is an example of a smart grid, and here you can see that all the generating plant like solar, battery energy storage, wind, and your this EVs and all those, they connected through a smart grid, and that smart grid is able to communicate and exchange the power among each other, and this is also related with the energy market, with the pricing control, and this way efficient energy flow and energy trading is possible, and self-reliance and reliability is there, and it is depending on the green energy, that solar, wind, and this battery energy storage. So, and when we are talking about smart city, so smart city is not means that we are digging the holes and we are putting the cables. Of course, these cables are needed for connectivity. So that is the part, wireless connectivity or wired connectivity. But in the end, we will have green energy sources, and we will get rid of pollution, and we will have paperless work, and of course there are a lot of startup. There are software park. There are startups. So those things they will be the part of, and of course our lifestyle and living comfort that will increase to a level of you can compare to any big city or in India or abroad. So that's, and this smart grid that will play a big role in that. And being an engineer or electrical engineer, you will have influence here. So secure energy, green energy sources for next generation. This is the example. In 2009, 16 terawatt year. We say that kilowatt hour, that is the unit. So kilo converted to terawatt, kilowatt, and hour is converted to year. So you know that how much energy it is. We need 16 terawatt year per year, and then 75% increase by 2050. So we need 28 terawatt year per year. But how can we fulfill it? So in 2009 we were having this 16 and that 16 terawatt year per year, and it increased to 28. And coal can only do they're having reserve of 900 terawatt year, and uranium is having 90 to 300 terawatt year, and natural gas is 215. So, but how can we? And oil is 240. So this might be not enough for many years. So how can we do then? Renewable energy, hydro is we can only have 3-4 terawatt year per year, and wind 25 to 70 terawatt year per year. But solar, you see that these bubbles are there according to their size, how much energy these sources are having. So that is having 23,000 terawatt year per year. And if you see the bubble, so that bubble size is this much. So that's why, if you remember, our Prime Minister, he has made a international solar alliance, and he make like IITs and NITs, Indian Solar Institute around the country. And you will be happy to know that we are one of the biggest producer of solar energy in the world, and top 3 solar plant, they are in India. So I will not take much time here. This statistics, like in Riva plant and this Pavagada plant, that is having the highest capacity in the world. And these are the growth of primary energy from solar PV market, and you see that India is on. We are having we are utilizing this solar energy very effectively. This is the cumulative growth in gigawatt. You see in 2020, it's around 45 gigawatt, and price of solar multi-module photovoltaic cell is dropping from $0.60 to $0.13. These are some comparison of carbon neutrality that coal plant is having 1 kilo carbon dioxide per kilowatt hour. Wind is having 10 gram, and solar is having 40 grams. So there is a huge potential when we are using photovoltaic or wind, and wind is having 100 times cleaner, solar is 25 times cleaner. What are the key takeaways? So your goals, you need to define that if you want to become engineer, then why should you want to become engineer, and what branch you want to take, and what skill you want to develop to become a like a top engineer or top scientist. So that's the first step, and you need to planning and do the effort so that you can excel in your professional life, and then you become successful. You continue to strive for success and make all things happen. So this is all about my presentation, and thank you so much. I don't know how many is still listening me, but thank you so much for that. And if you are having question, then 1 or 2 questions I can take.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening all of us. We, the small cities people, always look for an inspiration. And we are glad that you are the one who is inspiring us. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing this information.
Thank you so much. And you can reach to me, and I share my email address, and I can also write it in the message. So you can, anybody, if you are interested,
Thank you so
you
much.
can contact me. Yes, and thank you so much for the
Thank you so much.
organizer, Dr. Gangele and Dr. Jain. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a
We are
lot.
pleased.
Thank you, Dr. Anshul. Take care. Bye.
We are pleased to have with us Dr. Mahesh Pandey. Dr. Mahesh Pandey is a civil and environmental engineering professor at the University of Waterloo, as well as an industrial research chair at the Natural Science and Engineering Research Council. He is an internationally recognized research professor in the field of risk management and life cycle methods. The specific goal of his research program are to advance the probabilistic analysis technique for estimating reliability and remaining life of critical systems, structures and components. Dr. Pandey is also developing models and tools for optimizing inspection, maintenance and life cycle management strategies and a general plant level risk management model to integrate both engineering and business risk. As a result of his work, Dr. Pandey has received several awards and honors. He was the recipient of the Premier's Research Excellence Award for Province of Ontario in 2003, as well as the U Waterloo Faculty Engineering Distinguished Performance Award in 1999 and 2002. Additionally, in 1998, Dr. Pandey was presented with the Governor General of Canada's Gold Medal. Over to you, sir.
Excuse me, Shabha madam. Dr. Pandey is
Yes,
in
sir.
a process of connecting with us.
Yes,
Basically,
sir.
it is 6:15 around in Canada now. He has promised to join with us at 6:30 Canadian time. That is 4 p.m. today, right? So
Yes, sir.
just as you have introduced Dr. Pandey to our audience, I would like to tell some
Yes,
more
sir.
details regarding Dr. Pandey. Basically, Dr. Mahesh Datta Pandey is
Sure,
the
sir. Sure,
alumni
sir.
of the Dr. Mahesh Datta Pandey is the alumni of the Government Multipurpose Higher Secondary School Sagar. That is now uh, Government Excellence School Sagar right now. So it was formerly called Government Multipurpose Higher Secondary School Sagar, and he at that time 11th was there. It was not a 10 plus 2 11th class. So he topped the entire Madhya Pradesh, which was including Chhattisgarh at that time. From our Sagar, he brought laurels to Sagar by topping the examination. Then he got admitted into MACT Bhopal, that is now called MANIT, and he topped the examination of BTech at that particular year when he passed out with a gold medal. And then he went to Waterloo University to do his postgraduate studies in engineering. And when he finished his postgraduate studies, studied in engineering in Waterloo, he was the first Asian to receive the gold medal for his on the basis of his merit marks in the Waterloo University. And Dr. Pandey has also been associated with many projects as a consultant of NASA. So basically, Dr. Pandey, he has got roots in our Sagar city. And I think it will be a once in a blue moon opportunity to hear Dr. Pandey, who is now authority in the field of civil and environmental engineering, and he is the authority in the reliability and the risk analysis of the systems of the world over. So it is a once in a blue moon opportunity for us to have an introduction with him. So since it is very early morning, so he may take, he will join at exactly 4 p.m. I don't know 1 or 2 minutes before, so we are in the process of connecting with them. So can Shabha madam, can we have a break of 10 minutes?
Sure, sir.
The
Sure, sir.
session will go on. We will be online, and
Okay.
we will mute our camera and we will mute our speaker. And at the
Yes,
3:55 we resume the session.
that would be fine, sir. That would be
This is
fine.
my suggestion. So thank you,
Yes, sir.
Shava madam.
Totally.
Yeah, I am connecting with
Thank you so much.
so in the meantime, I am just reminding him
Okay, sir.
to
Okay.
get connected. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Hello, good
Doctor,
morning.
good morning, sir. A very good morning to you, sir. We are pleased
Good
to
morning,
have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm not used to Google Chat. My apologies, because Google Chat takes you to all personal account and all this thing. So that's why maybe it was
Yes,
difficult. Generally we are used to Zoom and the Microsoft platform. No problem. Good
all the
morning.
formatting. Sorry, sir, for all
No,
the
no, no problem at all.
all the technical difficulties, sir.
Always there, with technology. Um,
Yes. We have with us Dr. Mahesh Pandey, sir. Dr. Mahesh Pandey, sir, is a civil and environmental engineering professor at the University of Waterloo, as well as an industrial research chair at the Natural Science and Engineering Research Council, that is NSERC. He is an internationally recognized research profession in the field of risk management and life cycle methods. The specific goals of his research program are to advance the probabilistic analysis techniques for estimating reliability and remaining life of critical systems, structures, and components. Dr. Pandey is also developing models and tools for optimizing inspections, maintenance, and life cycle management strategies, and a general plant level risk management model to integrate both engineering and business risk. As a result of his work, Dr. Pandey has received several awards and honors. He was the recipient of the Premier Research Excellence Award for the province of Ontario in 2003, as well as the Waterloo Faculty of Engineering Distinguished Performance in 1999 and 2002. Additionally, in 1998, Dr. Pandey was presented with the Governor General of Canada's Gold Medal. Sir will be talking about the basic concept of engineering risk analysis. Over to you, sir. Am I audible to you, sir?
yes, sir. Should I start my presentation?
Sir,
My part? Okay. My name is Principal. Thank you very much for your institution and
Good morning,
especially
sir.
Principal Gangele and your organization to give me this rare honor and pleasure to connect with people in Sagar and bright students in Sagar. तो उसके लिए मैं आप लोगों का बहुत ही धन्यवाद देता हूं और यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ वाटरलू से मैं आप लोगों का अभिवादन करता हूं। यहाँ सुबह का करीब 6 बजा हुआ है तो इसलिए आपको गुड मॉर्निंग कहना चाहता हूं। तो इस अवसर पर अब मैं तो पूरा आप लोगों का फंक्शन ज्वाइन नहीं कर पाया, तो इसलिए मुझे थोड़ा सा कॉन्टेक्स्ट नहीं पता है। तो अगर मैं कुछ ऐसा बोलूं जो आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट हो तो उसके लिए आप मुझे क्षमा करें। लेकिन मैं कुछ जनरल आपको बैकग्राउंड देना चाहता हूं अबाउट द यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ वाटरलू एंड वेरी ब्रीफली व्हाट इज रिस्क एनालिसिस। रिस्क एनालिसिस क्या है, इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा कुछ थॉट शेयर करना चाहता हूं। अगर कोई आप लोगों को क्वेश्चन आंसर है बीच में तो फील फ्री, उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। तो लेट मी ट्राई टू शेयर my screen, as I said, Google is let's see where I can find application. Okay, just a second. तो वेरी ब्रीफली बहुत ही मैं कम समय आप लोगों का लेना चाहता हूं, आपका जो है दिन का अंत भी हो रहा है वहां पर, तो मैं जल्दी आप लोगों को दिखाई दे रहा होगा प्रेजेंटेशन?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It is visible.
Thank you very much. So University of Waterloo is um, one of the largest, you can say, technical school in Canada. Canada is a small country in the world stage. करीब करीब यहाँ की population जो है 35 million, 3.5 crore people, almost like a state in India. तो उसके लिहाज से तो ये कंट्री छोटा है, लेकिन टेक्नोलॉजिकल डेवलपमेंट कनाडा में जो है उसमें इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में, इंजीनियरिंग यूनिवर्सिटीज में वाटरलू काफी अग्रणी इंस्टीट्यूशन है. So faculty of engineering is, this is where I have been for last 25 years in the Department of Civil Engineering. So just a little bit of background on the faculty of engineering. Our engineering school, Waterloo, has a engineering and also has many other faculties of arts, computer science, accounting and other department. For engineering का basic picture ये है कि 8 academic यहाँ units हैं या programs हैं, you can say. In civil area में civil, environmental engineering and architectural engineering is a new addition, और 15 degrees यहाँ दे रहे हैं. Architecture, civil, electrical, geological, usual stuff. Just to share with you very quickly. Faculty of engineering in 2018 had about 309 faculty members, and now it will be about size of 350 faculty member. Around 8,000 undergraduate students, about 2,000 graduate यहाँ बोलते हैं students, PhD and master's students. और the unique thing about University of Waterloo is कि यहाँ का cooperative education program, they call it co-op program, और इंडिया में आप कह सकते हैं वहाँ से लिहाज से internship program, industrial training program. The unique thing is that the training program is paid by the industry. It is not just a voluntary kind of thing. So for every engineering student, university invites companies on campus for on-campus interview, and most of them end up, as you could see, 98% of students end up getting a job with the industry right from the beginning, from the first year. First year से उनका job चालू हो जाता है, and they are get as a paid position in the university. So by the time engineer graduate, 4-year program है यहाँ का, they have almost about 1.5 years equivalent of the professional working experience. So that is a unique aspect of a program in Waterloo. Entrepreneurship आजकल यहाँ पर काफी बड़ा है, मतलब कि engineers जो हैं, they are not only looking for job but they are creating job. तो job creation जो है engineer की एक तरह से a part of education बन गया है. तो entrepreneurship पर यहाँ काफी जोर दिया जा रहा है universities education में. International partnership, of course, सारे जगह से network बनाया हुआ है all over the places, Europe, India, Asia, China, all the big universities are connected to Waterloo, as given in the slide. और Waterloo की जो research strength is in these areas here. So bioengineering, medical devices, energy and environment, mechatronics, robotics, artificial intelligence, cyber security, all these areas are where the university wants to excel and carry out the research. Okay. Number of research institutions, a lot of institutions are there in terms of so university setup is that university is divided into faculties are divided into department, and then different research areas, focus areas create their own research institute. So institute on nanoelectronics, institute for computer research, institute for risk research, all these kind of things are basically created, and they're more focused centers of excellence. Sorry, yeah. Most of the work जो है research work यहाँ पर masters और PhD students, they are the one who do it. So I have just added one slide about what is the application procedure and how you can apply to it, and I'm sure these slides can be on the institute's website, तो वहाँ से आपको information थोड़ा मिल जाएगा. Selection criteria mainly यही है कि if you have to find a professor who is willing to accept you to supervise your program, और interest बैच होना चाहिए, reputation of institution, degree, marks, ये सब usual thing है, तो उसके basis पे admission मिलता है. One nice thing is that कि masters और PhD program यहाँ scholarship के साथ मिलता है, तो mostly you don't have to spend any money if you are selected here in Waterloo. University will provide all the funding. कोई आपको कोई क्वेश्चन या कोई कुछ पूछना है तो आप फील फ्री टू. क्योंकि चैट वगैरह तो आई एम नॉट एबल टू सी द चैट इफ यू आर आस्किंग क्वेश्चन देयर.
Sir, there are no questions in chat.
अच्छा.
And your complete presentation will be shared to each and everyone. So please, please go ahead.
Okay. So should I just continue with? ठीक है.
Yes,
I'll
sure,
just,
sir.
Yeah, okay. I'll continue with this. So basic Department of Civil Engineering, अगर मैं बताऊं अपने department के बारे में, तो यहाँ करीब 250 students लेते हैं first year में civil engineering में. We have 3 programs: civil engineering, environmental engineering, and architectural engineering. और हमारे department में करीब अब right now is almost 50 professor faculty members हैं, which include lecturers, assistant professor, associate professor, and full professor. And we cover basically the full span of civil engineering activities, and little bit, things which are slightly outside the main area of civil engineering, like the kind of things I do in the risk analysis and nuclear plant systems is a slightly a little bit more मतलब उसके थोड़ा सा वो है side activity है, main civil structural design नहीं है. So what I thought I could do is कि as a technical talk give you a little bit of sense कि what is the meaning of risk analysis or reliability analysis, and I don't want to go into a great deal of detail, but just give you a flavor of it कि किस type का काम यहाँ पर हम लोग research में करते हैं, and how it is connected to the engineering education and risk and reliability का connection क्या है. So very briefly, in about 10 minutes, I'll see if I can cover some slides. So basically ये idea कि nature of engineering क्या है. I thought, if you think about this, why do you want to become engineer? So engineering education enables you, आपको ये सब ability देती है, analyze technical problem. That's what we do. Engineers are really there to focus on practical problem, technical problem. And then what we want to do, we want to find solutions in form of some ideas, some algorithms, some process, some method. So उसका idea part है solution का, and then उसका hardware part है. Then what we do, we design some kind of technical product or equipment or machinery to execute our ideas. So these are the 3 elements basically, broadly, as I say, I'm just talking in a general sense. These 3 ideas are broadly connected to part of any engineering branch and discipline. And what we do, we deal with mostly system with some technical functionality, as I said. So civil engineers are dealing with the structures, buildings and bridges, or water infrastructure, environment. The mechanical engineers are dealing with equipment, and software guys are doing robotics, aerospace, all these kind of things are doing. But the underlying idea is that the principal aim of engineering is the assurance of a defined performance. तो ये हम लोगों का मतलब जो है अंडरलाइंग गोल है ऑलवेज व्हेन समथिंग इज engineered product, not just as a arbitrary things put together. If engineer has done a good job, then we want to give some kind of assurance that this thing is going to work for a certain period of time. And then engineering education जो है वो आप लोगों को प्रिपेयर करती है उसके लिए. तो बेसिक फंडामेंटल कोर्स हम लोग लेते हैं, मैथमेटिक्स, स्टैटिस्टिक्स, फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, मटेरियल साइंस. देन ब्रांच स्पेसिफिक कोर्सेज आप करेंगे, तो अगर आप इलेक्ट्रिकल में है तो इलेक्ट्रिकल मशीन के कोर्स, सिविल है तो स्ट्रक्चर्स के कोर्स. And then we all do the design type of courses are taught, design of engineering components, systems and all those things, practical application, project courses. So in 3 parts में जो education roughly divide की गई है, ताकि आप इसको engineering जो objective है, we can achieve the engineering objective. तो जो risk analysis है, how does it fit into the scheme of thing, ये हम आपको बताना चाहते हैं. तो आइडिया ये है कि engineering system जो हम लोग जब डिजाइन करते हैं तो there are set of codes हैं, standards हैं, जैसे स्ट्रक्चरल स्टील का कोड है, स्ट्रक्चरल डिजाइन का कोड है. तो वी आर बेसिकली डिजाइन यूजिंग दीज एस्टेब्लिश्ड जो मेथड्स हैं और प्रोसीजर्स हैं. लेकिन कुछ भी हम करें, जो इंजीनियरिंग सिस्टम जो बनाया जाता है ये एब्सोल्यूट सेफ नहीं है. कोई भी चीज जो है एब्सोल्यूट सेफ नहीं है. इन स्पाइट ऑफ आवर बेस्ट एफर्ट पुट इनटू डिजाइन, हम लोग सब एनालिसिस करते हैं, कंप्यूटर करते हैं, स्टिल यू रीड इन द न्यूज़पेपर कि कोई ना कोई एक्सीडेंट होता रहता है, कुछ ना कोई चीजें फेल हो जाती हैं. कहीं एरोप्लेन कहीं को हो गया, कहीं इंजन फेल हो गया, कहीं इलेक्ट्रिकल मैकेनिकल इक्विपमेंट में आग लग गई. तो इस तरीके के सिचुएशन होती रहती हैं. तो व्हाट वी से कि इंजीनियरिंग सिस्टम कैन फेल टू परफॉर्म इट्स इंटेंडेड फंक्शन. Okay, even though we do design in the best possible way, something can go wrong. Accidents can happen either because of कोई hazard, external factor है, अर्थक्वेक आ गया, कोई फायर हो गई, कोई बैड वेदर, क्लाइमेट चेंज सिचुएशन हो सकता है, या कोई इंटरनल इश्यू हो, ऑपरेशनल एरर हो गया, कोई समथिंग प्रॉब्लम इन द इक्विपमेंट, फॉल्ट हो गया. ये जो फेलियर है इसका है एडवर्स कॉन्सिक्वेंस. तो ये जो फेलियर ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग सिस्टम हैज अ इफेक्ट ऑन लाइफ एंड हेल्थ. तो इसको हम ये रिस्क बोलते हैं. दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ रिस्क. इफ देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ सम एक्सीडेंट, देन एक्सीडेंट कैन हैव एन एडवर्स कॉन्सिक्वेंस. तो क्या किया जाए बिफोर दिस हैपेंस? वी वांट टू एनालाइज ऑल दीज थिंग्स, वी वांट टू थिंक इट थ्रू. तो रिस्क एनालिसिस का बेसिकली मतलब यही है. एंड इट इज अप्लाइड टू all kind of systems. We don't hear about it because this is quietly done in the background. Bridges हैं, chemical plants हैं, nuclear systems, aerospace, any big engineering system that you see, they are subjected to risk analysis. तो risk analysis कब की जाती है? Risk analysis जो है during the design करते हैं, when the system is being designed. और also अगर कोई system already designed and built and operated है तो then we can also go back and do the risk analysis, okay, to make sure कि कोई वहाँ पर problem नहीं है. Basic approach क्या है? तो basic approach ये है कि risk analyst is thinking, okay, we always thinking how can a system fail. तो पहले आप डिजाइन कर लीजिए सिस्टम को, जो भी आपकी मेथड है या कोड है, स्टैंडर्ड है उसके हिसाब से. बट उसके बाद देन रिस्क एनालिसिस्ट जो है वो दे कम इनटू पिक्चर और वो बोलेंगे कि चलो लेट्स एनालाइज कि भाई सिस्टम कैसे फेल होगा. तो अंडरस्टैंड ऑल फेलियर मोड्स. फिर उसके बाद हम लोग क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं कि हाउ रिलायबल इज द डिजाइन. इसको कैसे इवेल्युएट करेंगे, रिलायबिलिटी क्या है डिजाइन की, कैन वी क्वांटिफाई इट, इसको कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं क्या, और व्हाट आर द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस. तो फेलियर अगर होगी तो होगा क्या, लॉस ऑफ मनी, रेवेन्यू, लाइफ, अदर फैक्टर्स, मेनी अदर फैक्टर्स. So answer to all these questions are not always easy. अगर सिस्टम अपना सिंपल है तो आंसर सिंपल है, अगर सिस्टम कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है तो आंसर्स आर आल्सो कॉम्प्लिकेटेड. So it involves a lot of mathematics, probability theory, statistics, computer simulation, testing भी करना पड़ता है सिस्टम का. So all these are the activities are part of the risk analysis. Okay. तो रिस्क की टर्मिनोलॉजी में बेसिकली है मीनिंग ऑफ रिस्क. वी नीड आल्सो टेक्निकल डेफिनेशन ऑफ रिस्क. तो रिस्क का मतलब ये है कि भाई व्हेन आई से रिस्क, डिफरेंट पीपल टेक इट डिफरेंट वे. समबडी वुड से कि अरे कंसर्न अबाउट सेफ्टी, कोई हैजर्ड हो तो सेफ है कि नहीं है. समबडी टॉक्स अबाउट फियर ऑफ पोटेंशियल फेलियर्स. समबडी टॉक्स अबाउट रिस्क मींस फाइनेंशियल लॉसेस, पैसा डूब जाएगा, इंजरी हो जाएगी, लाइफ सेफ्टी हो जाएगी. तो रिस्क एनालिसिस की कोई सिंगल एग्री डेफिनेशन नहीं है लिटरेचर में, क्योंकि रिस्क एनालिसिस जो है इज वाइडली यूज्ड इन मेनी डिसिप्लिन. from social sciences to engineering to mathematics, and then each discipline has its own definition. तो जनरल जो आइडिया है रिस्क का ये है कि रिस्क इज अ सिचुएशन और इवेंट वेयर समथिंग ऑफ ह्यूमन वैल्यू इज एट स्टेक. ओके, वहां पर ये जो है ह्यूमन का एस्पेक्ट है कि समथिंग दैट वी कंसीडर वैल्यूएबल कैन बी लॉस्ट, उसको कहते हैं रिस्की सिचुएशन. और रिस्क एग्जिस्ट होती है व्हेन देयर इज अनसर्टेनिटी अबाउट समथिंग. ओके, तो मतलब कोई पोटेंशियल उसमें अनसर्टेनिटी है, पूरे श्योर नहीं है हम लोग कि क्या होगा उस सिचुएशन में. इस स्टैंडर्ड है, इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड बन गया रिस्क एनालिसिस के लिए. तो जैसे ISO स्टैंडर्ड 31,000 पूरा वॉल्यूम ही बना हुआ है. तो ये बताएगा कि रिस्क सिग्निफाइज ए कंडीशन और ए कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ इवेंट्स इन विच देयर इज ए पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ लॉस. तो मतलब क्या है कहने का कि जैसे आप बिल्डिंग के ऊपर खड़े हैं, हाई राइज बिल्डिंग के ऊपर, और बोले कि हम कूद जा रहे हैं यहाँ से, तो क्या रिस्क है हमारी? तो उसमें कोई रिस्क का सवाल ही नहीं है. अगर आप ऊंची बिल्डिंग से कूदेंगे तो कॉन्सिक्वेंस ऑलरेडी नोन है हम लोग को. ओके, क्या होगा? बहुत जोर से इंजरी होगी और लाइफ सेफ्टी को सिचुएशन हो जाएगी. तो दैट इज नॉट रिस्क एनालिसिस. ओके, दैट इज ए सर्टेन आउटकम. तो रिस्क जो एनालिसिस है, इट डील्स विद अनसर्टेन आउटकम. क्योंकि हमने सिस्टम डिजाइन कर दिया है, अगर अर्थक्वेक आएगा तो क्या होगा? तो अर्थक्वेक आएगा, अगर इंटेंसिटी लो होगी तो कुछ नहीं होगा, इंटेंसिटी हाई होगी तो इक्विपमेंट फेलियर होगी. तो क्वेश्चन है हाउ हाई इज गोइंग टू बी. तो जब ऐसी अनसर्टेनिटी होती है तब फिर वहां रिस्क एनालिसिस की रोल और एनालिसिस होती है. मैथमेटिकल डेफिनेशन भी है लिटरेचर में, उसको बोलते हैं कि एक्सपेक्टेशन ऑफ लॉस इज रिस्क एनालिसिस. तो दो क्विक डेफिनेशन टू शो की कनेक्शन रिस्क जो एनालिसिस का है रिलायबिलिटी का प्रोबेबिलिटी के साथ है. तो रिलायबिलिटी इज डिफाइंड एज ए प्रोबेबिलिटी दैट ए सिस्टम है या कंपोनेंट है, इक्विपमेंट विल फंक्शन विथ स्पेसिफाइड परफॉर्मेंस रिक्वायरमेंट. ये सिंपल कहने का मतलब है ना, वो रिलायबिलिटी हो गई. और रिस्क में नाउ टू थिंग्स आर देयर. रिस्क इन्वॉल्व्स द लॉस एंड आल्सो अनरिलायबिलिटी. तो रिस्क अपन कैलकुलेट करते हैं एज ए प्रोडक्ट मल्टीप्लिकेशन ऑफ अनरिलायबिलिटी एंड कॉन्सिक्वेंस. एंड अनरिलायबिलिटी इज बेसिकली 1 माइनस रिलायबिलिटी, एज यू नो प्रोबेबिलिटी में चलता है. तो ये दो बेसिक डेफिनेशन तो ये है, मगर अब इनको कैलकुलेट कैसे करेंगे, कैसे क्वांटिफाई करेंगे, उसके लिए लॉट ऑफ एनालिसिस वी हैव टू डू. तो एक बेसिक हमने सोचा कि आपको छोटा सा बस प्रॉब्लम बता दें कि कैसे अपन रिस्क एनालिसिस कर सकते हैं. तो पहले अपने को रिस्क एनालिसिस का पहला पार्ट है रिलायबिलिटी बिफोर वी डू रिस्क एनालिसिस. तो रिलायबिलिटी प्रॉब्लम जो है उसको अपन बना सकते हैं सप्लाई वर्सेस डिमांड प्रॉब्लम. दिस इज हाउ यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड. ठीक है, तो सिस्टम इज रिलायबल अगर उसकी कैपेसिटी इज ग्रेटर देन डिमांड. कैपेसिटी ज्यादा है, डिमांड कम है, तो सिस्टम अपना काम करेगा. और फेलियर हो जाएगी अदर वे अराउंड, अगर कैपेसिटी कम है, डिमांड ज्यादा हुई, तो बोले ये फेल हो जाएगा. तो इस तरीके से अपन उस प्रॉब्लम को डिफाइन करना चालू करते हैं. तो जैसे एक एग्जांपल दे सकते हैं छोटा सा, कि जैसे मान लीजिए ब्रिज बना हुआ है, स्क्रीन में आप देख रहे हैं, सेंटर में कॉलम है और कॉलम के ऊपर लोड आ रहा है. तो इफ यू आस्क ए क्वेश्चन कि भाई ये कॉलम फेल होगा कि नहीं होगा, ये कॉलम सेफ है, तो अब उसको अपन बोलेंगे भाई कॉलम फेल कब होगा? कॉलम फेल तब होगा जबकि उस पर डिमांड मतलब स्ट्रेस इन द कॉलम इज बिगर देन ग्रेटर देन स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ द कॉलम, कैपेसिटी ऑफ द कॉलम. तो अब क्वेश्चन ये है कि भाई हाउ डू वी डिफाइन द कैपेसिटी ऑफ द कॉलम. तो आपको स्ट्रक्चरल इंजीनियरिंग की नॉलेज होना चाहिए कि एक कॉलम है, इसके कैसे कैलकुलेट करेंगे, कंप्रेसिव स्ट्रेंथ, बकलिंग स्ट्रेंथ, ऑल दोस थिंग्स. फिर क्वेश्चन है कि स्ट्रेस कितना होगा इस पर, तो कितना ट्रैफिक होगा ब्रिज के ऊपर, ये अपने को एस्टिमेट करना पड़ेगा, उसके हिसाब से आप कैलकुलेट करेंगे. एंड देन वो जो ट्रैफिक लोड है दैट कैन बी हाई और लो डिपेंडिंग ऑन द डे. कॉलम स्ट्रेंथ कैन बी हाई और लो डिपेंडिंग ऑन द क्वालिटी ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन. तो उन दोनों का अपन कंसीडर करके फिर प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ फेलियर कैलकुलेट करते हैं. तो ये एक जनरल आइडिया है कि हमको एक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन बनाना पड़ेगा, प्रोबेबिलिटी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की कितनी डिमांड हो सकती है टुमारो ऑन द कॉलम, और क्या स्ट्रेंथ है इसकी कॉलम की, अपने को एस्टिमेट करना पड़ेगा. ये भी एक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन रहेगा. इसकी एग्जैक्ट वैल्यू तो मुश्किल है मालूम करना, कि कॉलम बना दिया है उसकी बस टेस्टिंग कर सकते हैं और तो कुछ कर नहीं सकते हैं. तो इन दो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन को कंबाइन करके कैसे कैलकुलेट करें प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ फेलियर, उस टाइप की एनालिसिस और रिसर्च हम लोग ये सब यहाँ पर करते हैं फॉर डिफरेंट सिस्टम के लिए. रिलायबिलिटी को हम लोग दूसरा एग्जांपल है कि टाइम के रिलेशन में भी डिफाइन कर सकते हैं कि भाई हम एक इक्विपमेंट यूज कर रहे हैं, हाउ लॉन्ग कैन आई यूज द इक्विपमेंट. तो अपन बोलते हैं भाई ठीक है, लाइफ टाइम क्या है, हाउ लॉन्ग इक्विपमेंट का लाइफ टाइम कितना है. तो बोले भाई एग्जैक्टली तो नहीं मालूम हो सकता है, लेकिन प्रोबेबिलिस्टिक टर्म में हम लोग उसको डिफाइन कर सकते हैं। तो जैसे एक सिंपल एग्जांपल है कि आप फ्लाइट ले रहे हैं, समझिए दिल्ली से लंदन जाना है आपको, फ्लाइट लिया हमने, तो फ्लाइट लेने के पहले अब रिस्क हो सकता है कि मैकेनिकल फेलियर हो जाए कोई इंजन में। तो क्वेश्चन इज कि भाई क्या है प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ इंजन फेलियर। तो उसके लिए क्वेश्चन होगा कि भाई इंजन का लाइफ टाइम क्या है, कितना, हाउ लॉन्ग इंजन कैन लास्ट, और फ्लाइट ड्यूरेशन कितनी है। तो फ्लाइट रिलायबल होगी जब इंजन का लाइफ टाइम हैज टू बी ग्रेटर देन द फ्लाइट टाइम, and then this kind of probability of failure, again we will go and define the problem and calculate the probability of failure. So in the end, this is the way sort of, we have it all different types of problem, different classes of equipment, उसकी बात अलग है, लेकिन just to give you a flavor, एक रिलायबिलिटी प्रॉब्लम पहले अपने को डिफाइन करना पड़ेगा कि फेलियर मोड क्या है, क्या उसकी स्ट्रेंथ है, क्या डिमांड है, क्या कैपेसिटी है, हाउ टू क्वांटिफाई फॉर ईच पार्ट ऑफ द सिस्टम। तो ये रिसर्च जो हम यहाँ करते हैं वाटरलू में न्यूक्लियर प्लांट के लिए करते हैं, तरह तरह के कंपोनेंट है न्यूक्लियर प्लांट में, पाइपिंग है, फ्यूल चैनल है, न्यूक्लियर फ्यूल है, बॉयलर्स हैं, टर्बाइन, ट्रांसफार्मर, जनरेटर, उन सब के हम लोग रिस्क एनालिसिस के सिस्टम मॉडल बनाते हैं और उस पर रिसर्च करते हैं। तो जस्ट क्लोजिंग रिमार्क हमारा ये है आप लोगों के लिए कि जो इंजीनियर हैं, हम लोग एज ए इंजीनियर वी डील विथ ए वैरायटी ऑफ टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लम एंड आवर गोल इज टू फाइंड सेटिस्फैक्टरी सोल्यूशन। और रिस्क एंड रिलायबिलिटी एटलीस्ट जहां हम हैं, ये एक इंटीग्रल पार्ट अब हो गया है इंजीनियरिंग का, क्योंकि यहाँ पर बहुत कंसर्न है, हम लोगों को सबको कंसर्न है, लाइफ सेफ्टी नहीं होना चाहिए और इकोनॉमिक लॉस नहीं होना चाहिए, प्लांट सब प्रॉपर काम करना चाहिए। तो इसलिए रिस्क एनालिसिस काफ़ी इम्पॉर्टेंट एरिया है, इससे हम लोग रिलायबल सिस्टम डिज़ाइन करते हैं और मेक श्योर कि हमारे सिस्टम फिट फॉर सर्विस, फिटनेस फॉर सर्विस इम्पॉर्टेंट है। और ऑल मेजर एरियाज ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग, एज आई से, नॉट ओनली इंजीनियरिंग, फाइनेंस में भी, मेडिकल साइंस में भी, हेल्थ साइंस में भी, सभी जगह ये कॉन्सेप्ट जो है प्रोबेबिलिटी थ्योरी, इसका टेक्निकल बेसिस है, उसके बेसिस पर हम लोग रिलायबिलिटी एंड रिस्क के मेजर कैलकुलेट करते हैं, क्वान्टिफाई करते हैं। ठीक है, तो यहाँ मैं अपना वक्तव्य अब समाप्त करना चाहता हूँ। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir, for letting us know about the risk analysis. It was extremely informative.
Thank you.
I would request AIST Associate Director to present the word of thanks.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Mahesh Pandey for giving his valuable time to our students. We are, sir, very privileged to have a person of your caliber to be present with us today. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
नहीं, ये हमारा, आपको बहुत खुशी हुई कि आप लोगों के इंस्टीट्यूशन दे अप्रोच्ड मी और उन्होंने मुझको यहाँ पर इनवाइट किया। ये पहली बार ऐसा सागर से इनविटेशन आया, तो इसको तो मतलब टर्न डाउन करने कोई सवाल ही नहीं था। ये तो मेरा सौभाग्य है कि आप लोगों ने मुझको यहाँ पर अवसर दिया और बुलाया, और मैं आपके लिए बहुत ही शुक्रगुजार हूँ।
जी सर, हम लोग उम्मीद करेंगे आप फ्यूचर में भी ऐसे इनविटेशन हमेशा एक्सेप्ट करें, हमारे स्टूडेंट्स को हमेशा गाइड करें।
I will be happy to.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Now I would also like to invite our principal, sir, Dr. Anshul Gangele, to also express his vote of thanks.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And sir, I am highly indebted that you have taken out your valuable time for such a nice talk to our students. I express my sincere thanks and gratitude to you.
As I say again, I'm equally thankful and grateful to you, Anshul ji. आपने कांटेक्ट किया है करीब 5-6 महीने पहले और बहुत अच्छा लगा कि सागर से किसी ने याद किया हमको, और अगली बार जब सागर हम विजिट करेंगे तो आपको जरूर हम आकर नमस्कार और अभिवादन करेंगे।
सर बिल्कुल सर, थैंक यू सर। और सर मैं भी थोड़ा रिलायबिलिटी में कुछ रिसर्च करता रहता हूँ, मैं अपना सर आप
प्लीज अपना भेजिए क्या आप करते हैं, आपका इंटरेस्ट है।
सर मैं आपको बात कम्युनिकेट करूंगा। सर आपको अभी इंट्रोड्यूस कराना चाहता हूँ हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं। आपके क्लास फेलो हैं, आपका फोन आया था जो कि एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में है, तो उन दोनों से मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा
हाँ महेश भैया नमस्कार।
नमस्कार नमस्कार।
Myself Brijesh Kumar Singh, तहसीलदार रायसेन. Presently I am posted in रायसेन. मैंने सुना अंशुल भैया से बहुत अच्छा लगा और मैं बहुत समय से आपका वेट कर रहा था कि भैया ऑनलाइन आए तो कम से कम दर्शन हो जाए.
नहीं आपका
मैं 82 में पास आउट हुआ था. That time you are 81 बैच में आप थे. रियली मजा आ गया देख के.
सागर
अंशुल भैया का
सागर को तो इसलिए सवाल ही नहीं है.
रियली वेरी लकी. रियली ऊपर वाले का बहुत बड़ा आशीर्वाद कि आज आपका दर्शन हुआ. अंशुल भैया को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. मैनेज किया और आप दैट योर ग्रेटनेस कि आप इतना बिजी होने के बाद और इतना टाइम दिया पूरी टीम को. वी आर रियली लकी. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपको सर.
और हमको उम्मीद है कि आप लोगों से इन पर्सन मिलना होगा.
जरूर आए भैया. जब भी आप इंडिया में आए तो हमारा मतलब रिक्वेस्ट है कि भोपाल या फिर सागर जब भी आप प्लान करें हम लोग जरूर आएंगे.
जी हाँ.
बहुत अच्छा लगा कि आप इतने बिजी शेड्यूल से वहां से टाइम निकाले और रियली मजा आ गया.
थैंक यू वेरी मच.
रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा. वैसे सर आप अनम्यूट कर दीजिए.
हाँ सर.
वैद्य सर से अनुरोध है अपना स्पीकर अनम्यूट कर रहे सर. आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है.
हाँ आवाज नहीं आ रही है.
अब आई आवाज. अब आ रही आवाज.
हाँ आवाज आई. जी हाँ.
आवाज आ रही है अंशुल.
यस सर आपकी आवाज आ रही. प्लीज आप
हाँ ओके. वो हेडफोन लगाए थे उसमें कुछ प्रॉब्लम लगी होगी. ओके पांडे जी नमस्कार और गुड मॉर्निंग. आपके यहाँ मॉर्निंग है. वर्तमान में मैं प्रिंसिपल हूँ और आपको अभी 17 अप्रैल में हम लोगों ने एलुमनाई किया था जिसमें 73 से लेकर के 90 तक के स्टूडेंट आए थे. आपको आपके बैच वालों ने बहुत याद किया. गोस्वामी जी हैं, आशुतोष गोस्वामी हैं, भोपाल में है मनवानी जी, ये सारे लोगों ने याद किया था. और वैसे मैं बता दूं मैं भी यहाँ का स्टूडेंट हूँ 77 का और फिर 85 टू 90 फिर यहाँ एज ए टीचर रहा. तो जिस समय चौबे जी थे उनके साथ में रहने का मौका मिला तो आपकी चर्चा बहुत चलती रहती थी. और बोर्ड में तो नाम लिखा ही हुआ था. तो आज चलिए बात हो गई. मैं आपका व्हाट्सएप नंबर सेव कर लूंगा. कुछ है हमारे क्वेरीज तो आपके लिए फिर चर्चा करूंगा. और कभी आए तो अपने स्कूल को जरूर आइए.
बिल्कुल
मोस्ट वेलकम.
बहुत ही नहीं हम बहुत सौभाग्य की बात है वैद्य जी कि आपने इनवाइट किया हमको और इसी बहाने हमको भी मौका मिला आप लोगों से कनेक्ट होने का. नहीं तो बहुत सालों से बाहर रह रहे हैं और फिर संपर्क धीरे धीरे कम होने लगता है. तो हम इस बात से बहुत ही हमको खुशी हुई कि आप लोगों ने याद किया और वापस सागर की तरफ से मुझे कनेक्ट किया. इसके लिए मैं आप लोगों का बहुत ही शुक्रगुजार हूँ और अवश्य आप लोगों से मिलने का मुझे सौभाग्य मिलेगा. हम कॉन्फिडेंट हैं कमिंग ईयर में.
आप कभी निकालिएगा टाइम. जब भी आना हो तो जरूर स्कूल जरूर आइएगा.
जी हाँ जरूर आएंगे.
थैंक यू.
सर मैं पुनीत शर्मा जी से अनुरोध करूंगा. मेरे क्लासमेट हैं और टॉपर हैं हमारे स्कूल के. पुनीत शर्मा जी अपना जरा स्पीकर और अपना वीडियो ऑन करें. सर से इंटरेक्ट कर दें.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Puneet Sharma. Sir, maybe perhaps you do not remember, you may not remember that you visited us in 1988 when we were in 12th. And yeah, I think at that time you had just done your MS and then you were probably entering into PhD course.
बिल्कुल ठीक है आपने.
That was a huge inspiration for us. That inspired us to do well in 12th class. Many of us actually got into engineering. I was fortunate to get into Maulana Azad College, same as where you also did. And afterwards, I did from electronics engineering and then also did MTech from IIT Kanpur.
Okay, very good.
After that, I joined corporate services, worked for several years. And after probably it's, I think 35 4 years that we are able to see you and hear you, and hopefully this will again inspire us to do and work hard. So thank you so much. It has
thank
been a
you.
privilege to
Very nice,
to-
Puneet. As I said, thanks to technology, कि at least we are able to connect. नहीं
Yes,
तो लगता है कि अब जैसे इतना दूर है भारत और डिस्टेंस इतना हो गया, as you say, 30 साल निकल गए, कभी मौका ही नहीं मिला ऐसे कनेक्शन होने का. तो हमको भी बहुत खुशी हुई और हम दिल से
it's
हमने
been
कहा कि
wonderful,
आभारी हैं
sir.
आप लोगों के.
We are privileged to be having heard you today again.
No, it's a feeling is mutual. Feeling is mutual. Same here, जी हाँ.
Pandey sir, thanks for your blessings. And sir, I hand over the proceedings to Rohit Jain sir.
ठीक है.
Thank you, sir. I would again like to thank you. And
ठीक है.
you are right. It is only because of technology that we are able to connect with you. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been possible that you come here from Canada. So this is why we are celebrating National Technology Day. Thank
Very
you again,
nice.
sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, and again we will connect again. आप लोगों से फिर संपर्क हम लोग जारी रखेंगे.
Definitely, sir. We will again contact you, and
Sure.
we always hope from you that our students will get guidance from you.
Please,
Thank you,
तो
sir.
कभी भी आप लोगों को कोई जरूरत हो, आपके स्टूडेंट्स को कोई क्वेश्चन पूछना है, आप लोग हमेशा more than welcome, to reach me, and I would be happy to offer whatever advice and discussion जो भी आपको चाहिए है यहाँ से information मैं अवश्य आप
Definitely,
लोगों
sir.
को.
Definitely.
Okay?
As students and faculty members both will seek your
जी हाँ,
guidance.
जी हाँ. ठीक है.
Thank
और अगले
you.
साल अगर हमारा आने का प्लान अगर बनेगा या लेटर दिस ईयर तो हम प्रिंसिपल जी को इन्फॉर्म कर देंगे और जरूर सागर में तो कोई इतना नहीं ज्यादा दिक्कत आपके यहाँ आने में तो बस आ जाएंगे कभी भी.
Definitely, sir. You just inform us and we'll make sure that you visit our college.
जी हाँ. ठीक है, तो मैं अब क्या ऑफ कर दूं यहाँ से?
जी सर, you can leave.
ठीक है. थैंक यू वेरी मच अगेन. थैंक यू ऑल. और मेरा यहाँ से नमस्कार आप सबको. थैंक यू.
Namaste, sir.
नमस्कार.